All Reason No Logic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by All Reason No Logic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. We'll be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. All Reason No Logic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by All Reason No Logic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. We'll be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. All Reason No Logic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by All Reason No Logic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. We'll be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. All Reason No Logic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by All Reason No Logic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobby.
G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to King of the Hill for your Sunday nights. Got a Claymore starting us up tonight, just with the people that got on nice and early to kick this one off. Hopefully as the mods arrive over the course of the night, we'll expand the lobby out and do this on some bigger matches. And sorry about the titles on the officials. We do not have access to the channels to change them, just the codes in which we can use to stream to them.
Battle started.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to King of the Hill on Claymore. You're joining us for a 5 versus 11 with a couple of built-in lanes. So the map is currently divided into 5 sets of 2 versus 1 with a plus 45% bonus for the 1. These guys have to manage a defense and an offense in order to try to break their lanes, because you are not allowed to pass out of your lane until you have dealt with your opponents. Nice, easy warm-up game for all sides involved. Best strategies around the outside is for one player to go T2, the other player to feed them, to use that comm to T2 your mexes across the map, then have one player provide T1 while the other player provides T2, or both players go into heavy T1 to try and rush down the king. On the other hand, the king wants to try and get themselves up at least 1 fusion and maybe more. And with that bonus, they just might be able to, because one of the things that has changed recently, that 45% bonus applies to the starting medal now, rather than being able to be gained by reclaiming buildings, which makes for a much more consistent playstyle. So hopefully we'll see those ones roaming their way around the map. Couple of different
45% bonus with these 5 guys in the middle. I reckon that's a little bit high. That is a strong team.
Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. The hard thing is that when you start going too far down with bonuses, there sort of becomes a cutoff point where it becomes almost impossible to win, and that's somewhere around about that 35 to 45 mark, somewhere in between there, because it makes getting the fusion impossible, because you just don't generate that metal fast enough to get it, and then your income is stalled and you've got 2 players working against you. So sometimes when there's a strong Kings team, they do have a bit of the advantage, but there is always the tiebreaker lane where we do have 3 peasants in the top corner. If these guys work together, they can put a mighty strong push down. One of the biggest losses I suffered was from 2 fat boys attacking me at 10 minutes with a hell of a lot of T1 going with them. That was a very rough thing to try and push into. Oop, unfriendly. Might want to grab a quick pause twig. Sorry, tank dom.
What's going on?
Just a player that is jumping forward a little bit too far.
Let me know when we're good to go again.
I think we are.
It's just pausing in, isn't it?
Battle resumed.
Yeah.
Commander self-destructed. Commander self-destructed.
There we go. Easy peasy. Tom, you're going with a super wind heavy build. I noticed that you've pulled basically all of your constructors off and you're consuming them to get that T2 lab. One thing I was going to ask, why not consume the metal storage before you consume the constructors?
Because I had entirely forgotten that was the thing that I had, to be honest.
That extra 300 metal will basically get you there, which would be nice.
What I always do as well is that energy storage, drag your slider all the way down so that you can reclaim it. And then once that energy is bottomed out, make sure you don't reclaim it before it's bottomed out though, otherwise you're essentially wasting the energy.
Me personally, I tend not to reclaim it. You tend to be able to get the T2 up, and then I use that reclaim T2 tech, where you get all of the mexes placed, and then you reclaim the T2 in order to pay for the first one, which pays for the second, which pays for the first. It's a bit of a mess dealing with the build power, because to make it efficient, you have to essentially ensure that you've got a T1 constructor on the build on the one that's being built second and third, where because the T2 has too much build power. But anyway, it's a little bit of a juggle, but it certainly helps you get it up that little bit faster. Then you can go straight into
what I usually do is reclaim the energy storage and build a metal storage, reclaim the T2 lab, and make sure I got enough build power. You end up getting all three up faster.
Yeah.
But you'll just start getting them up later.
Yeah, it's a balancing game, because if you end up having the metal storage completed before you have the advanced metal extractors completed, you're losing that extra bit of metal that the extra metal extractors give you. If you don't get the balance right, you end up with multiple half-built metal extractors instead of one and a half fully built. Yeah, anyway, it can be a bit of a mess, but if you get it right, then it shaves about 10 to 15 seconds off of your build, and 10 to 15 seconds at the very end of your build when you have all of the metal income from the fusions coming in. It most certainly makes a big difference. Micro optimizations, of which certain players are particularly good at it. Definitely not gonna name drop players like Duffy in that sort of situation, and others attempt it somewhat badly, like myself. And then others just don't worry about it. But it does look like we're going to have a bit of an interesting set of rounds this time, because we do have a heavy amount of defenses being invested in by Mazza quite early. Many beamers, but also a completely empty side. The comm completely reclaimed for that extra bit of metal. So we'll see whether or not that can be converted into a nice boost. But they are going up against what looks to be a very eco-heavy start out of out of the two players facing him. And it does not look like T2 is going to be on the cards anytime soon for them. So they're going to be at a bit of a metal disadvantage compared to teams that manage to go T2 across the board. In fact, do we have anyone that's managed that so far? I'm seeing Spartacus with the T2 extractors along with Dead. So Spartacus has managed it. Does not look like it's been shared across to their partner. Dead Vegan Cat has also managed it, as well as Tom the Ruler. I'm assuming that that was with a shared T2, because all of those mexes do look like they're going to be T2. So they're going to have a nice amount of metal to deal with, which is going to be quite a struggle for Cookie's box. With 2 minutes to go and no fusion, I think that Cookie's box might be in a bit of trouble.
Build power.
Duffy, on the other hand, double fusion already. This is the build to watch. 2 minutes with double fusion, provided you have the conversion to keep up with it, which it does look like he's about to have. Should be a very strong economy to roll out. Old Man and Crazed Gunman have managed to get themselves T2, so this one should be a pretty good lane to watch.
I reckon it will be a pretty quick lane to watch. So maybe we'll start there and then move on to another one with only a minute and a half to go. Both players going T2, they're going to have a lack of coverage from their bigger base compared to Duffy's smaller base, unless they get enough pork up or go back to T1 for spam. It's going to be quite hard to defend if Duffy comes out with any sort of big presence.
Interestingly enough, the only two comms left for the Kings team are Cookie Box, which is one of the lanes that I think is going to struggle the hardest, as well as Tank Toms, who's got his defenses, is getting his defenses up right now. So the bottom half of the map can win, but if the top two lanes don't survive, that's going to be GG for the Kings.
I've always been too scared to reclaim my king, my commander.
I agree.
In King of the Hill.
And I haven't found a situation where I've overly needed to.
Like, I've always got D guns off, especially when you get rushed. I just bring my commander forward to whichever lane the radar is showing the most units. And even if he dies, he's taking out that first swarm and saving the day.
Does look like it is going to be a fairly heavy vehicle day across the board. Or maybe not. Does look like we have a bit of a mix. Mazza going into a lot of T1, but he will also be fighting into a lot of T1 as well. 5 seconds to go, and that is going to be the good
I would like
to
watch
engage.
Mazza's lane, I reckon.
Do remember, comms, please do not do things like combomb until the 15-minute mark.
Looking at this blue versus pink, that is a lot of blitz.
That's a lot of blitz. And there's
there is no commander.
There's no
This is what I'm talking about.
Self-D in the middle of this to take it out. But defensive advantage does go to Mazza, who's taking a big toll on these units as they come up, but there are just too many blitzes, provided the blitzers stay away from all of that beautiful exploding stuff.
Yeah,
this is going to be
Tom.
a total wipe. Tank Tom, on the other hand, oop.
I'll just type it out to him.
Yep. So one of the reasons we don't allow for comms to go into the comms base until 15 minutes is because the base is just too small.
All right, you can probably resume. I get it.
If it explodes just through taking damage, it can do a huge amount. Does look like the top half of the map struggling as well, ticks into the base, but they were caught up by the fusion reactors instead of managing to find themselves, say, the conversion, things along those lines.
I'm very surprised that Cookie Box went for the second fusion after having a bit of a slower start.
Sometimes you have to risk it for the biscuit, but with this being the lane where he's versus 3 people, that's a complete reset. So 2 kings down right out of the gate, and that's going to be 1 comm left for the kings. So Tank Tom is going to need to be the surviving factor. Those gunslingers trading incredibly efficiently against the units that are coming in, but they did still get in. Thankfully, a nice metal dump for Tank Tom to reclaim. And as long as Tank Tom porks up here, he might be okay. Does want to get out and attack the peasants though, but with the peasants having very limited T2 as far as their metal, they are going to be on the low side when it comes to a secondary attack, so Tank Tom does have a bit of time. Now we do see a large offensive out of Duffy coming across on the red side with a large number of stouts. Stouts just such an efficient unit when you have lots and lots of money. We have been seeing them being quite dominant over the last few weeks. These guys just rushing in with as many of them as possible. Sometimes T2 is good, sometimes T1 gets the job done as well. So a nice push there.
If Tom Roller, Rovenda, Dead Vegan Cat, and then soon to be Dominus and Smitch are smart, they're just going to go for Tank Tom's base because that is the last com.
That is what I've already seen as stuff coming around the side.
But no, it looks like they're going for other bases, which surprises me. The win condition is to... I mean, Duffy's cleared one base.
They are more than welcome to go elsewhere. I'm not going to stop them.
This has surprised me with the bonus and with the kings that we had in the middle. I thought it was just going to be complete wipe that we've seen recently.
We know
Interesting
that
looking
the
in Kikado's base. We don't see the Sheldons that often in King of the Hill and Claymore. They're doing all right.
One of the things that we know is that plus 45 is no more advantageous than the plus 45 that we've used on this map traditionally has been. It's approximately 2 fusions by 10 minutes with a small T2 army for the kings. So despite the strong start, it is still a very standard start.
Wow, Duffy's base breached.
Oh, that's not ideal. Only a couple of beamers defending. That's the build power gone. If these blitzers can get out of range of those beamers and just take out those fusions, despite the incredibly strong Kings team, I think that they...
Oh no.
No.
You got one,
taken
but there's still
down.
2 left.
Man, that's just some micro. That's just some missing micro just
Tom's com went down, and just in time, who has resurrected a com?
there. Where is there a rest com?
Oh, there's still one king left.
Oh my god,
One commander.
Duffy's got a rest com.
Oh wow. Holy moly.
Man, that thing has no health whatsoever.
Probably the best thing to do. I mean, the only safe lane right now is over in yellow on Kikado's base. Is there a commander wreckage that he can get up? There absolutely is. Those Sheldons have just walked over a single commander. Where's his commander's... I can't see where his commander's grave is. He must have completely reclaimed it. Win faster. Tank Tom holding on for a while. Essentially, yeah, wow. Peasants in a very strong position. It's probably the... a few weeks back, Prey used to give us shit like you were the condition. But I'm feeling like me not being in here this time's been a real big factor on this.
You can't make that claim when I'm not in the game to make a difference. Also,
traditionally, you and I, we do play very similarly, and we might not win quickly, but we also
we do win our
almost
lanes.
never. We also never lose
quickly. Look, the reason I joke about it is because I feel like I'm a very non-factor in all of the King of the Hill stuff. So I just talk a bit of shit.
Duffy having to pull back those stouts to defend with the last commander. They are rezzing. Oh wow. Oh no, the other commander's getting reclaimed from Kikado instead of being resurrected as we speak. 3 of them on it. No.
Does look like a mix of sprinters and blitzers going into Duffy's base. The stouts are there to try and block them off, but a lot of them are getting in. Beamer's in a slightly better position this time, but also more units coming through. If that one beamer can, again positioning, but that is all the fusions down. So Duffy's ability to produce has just been very, very reduced. It's going to be off of reclaim, and that's about it at the moment.
He's also not able to hide his commander anymore, especially while walking around. That's draining a lot more energy, taking up to 1,000 energy out of the bank.
And those
He needs to drag
hounds,
that slider back up.
those hounds are doing a great job of taking out those defenses as well. Welder's now in the back of the base. Duffy doing the best he can to hold on, but there's no reinforcements coming anytime soon. Yellow has to make his way through 2 more bases before he can get there.
There's a counter on. He needs to build just resbots right now and get this up real quickly.
The problem is, even if he gets those resbots, it's going to be one king that's taken a lot of damage versus one king that's doing really well versus essentially the rest of the map with only 1 to 2 players that have with only a couple of peasants that have fallen. So definitely a rough position. Tank Tom, I noticed that you've handed over a fusion. That is keeping you guys in the game right now.
What a nice guy.
Yep.
But also, don't build your advanced energy converter next to your fusion reactors.
It's fine. It's
Compliment and
fine.
criticism.
I'm doing what I can.
You're doing well, so now you've got a compliment sandwich. Which is an insult on in the middle of 2 compliments.
Doesn't
All
look
right.
like you have the forces to push out though,
Okay,
Tank Tom. Large number
How's
of
that come up?
hounds.
Yeah, I just need to work out which one I can get into.
And this is
This
the
is turning into a
problem.
good game, and I did not record this in the way I wanted to. It feels like it was almost YouTube video worthy, this one.
It certainly turned
When I
into
saw
a
the
closer
bonus
one
and
than
the
we
players,
expected.
it's the closest one that there's been, I think. I'm actually quite proud because there's been a lot of complaints about these not being even lately. But right now, Kakedo's even coming back now, wrapping around. Dominus has just fallen. Smitch has had a while to eco up, but just too many units coming out of Kakedo. Do these guys still have a chance?
I'm going to be honest, I don't think that Smitch has any chance against what's coming for him. There's T1
No, he's
units to
gone too much
scout,
eco.
there's Sheldon's pumping damage in, and the army value for Smitch is probably less than a 20th. So unfortunately, they spent too many resources trying to take that middle ground, which was mostly just beamers, and they weren't able to crush Duffy, so they sort of split their attention 2 ways, which did not serve them well. And it does look like, unless they can siege Duffy down in the next very short amount of time, it is going to be advantage to the Kings. And with those snipers out now, lots of damage is going down onto all of the attacking units. Again, that fusion massive, and the rattlesnake is going to be massive as well.
It's up to these 3 players on the north to come online and really help.
Problem is
They need to
that
take
they
out
don't
Tom
have
and then
any
attack.
eco.
I'm surprised that they're not building spiders to go up the back. Yeah, they are all T1. They haven't scaled greatly. We do see Ravenda building a secondary base on the front line, which I do like. And building some mammoths there, but building mammoths at the same time as eco does really slow things down a lot.
Mammoth's
And there you go.
2,200 metal, which means that for 1.5 of them you can get yourself a fusion.
There's a slow march into Tom's base right now. Quite a bit of metal in army value right there.
And
That fat
mine
boy's
is
not.
whacked from behind as well.
Yeah, you've got the hovers
Oh
hanging
god.
out distances.
Yeah, those hovers are going to be a problem.
All fronts is the problem for me.
The bigger problem is that they're attacking the wrong target. Like honestly,
They are definitely
Tank
hitting the
Tom
fusion.
well, it's not that they're attacking the wrong base. They're
Oh, yeah,
hitting
they
Tank
killed
Tom,
Mazes.
but Tank Tom's not in a position to scale. Imagine if they'd managed to hit Mazza and grab, say, nice chunks of his conversion, nice chunks of his construction turrets. They
There's
have
fusion.
crippled Tank Tom, but the question is crippling Tank Tom enough in this situation? Because the powerhouse is Kakedo. And Duffy is staying online and trading horribly efficiently right now.
That's a lot of hounds out of a crazed gunman. that is enough to win if they just get sent in altogether. Surely. But if there's any sort of hesitation like that, you're
Just
going to just slowly
losing-
lose.
Every couple of seconds, losing 4 of them to snipers.
You just run in, you win.
Yep, you just have to concentrate fire on the defenses first, then onto those sharpshooters. Make sure that you can't be going backwards; they outrange you.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Oh,
this
dear.
is
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
sad to see, and Kakato really just single-handedly there saving Tom's Heine.
Oh, yeah.
Once purple, there's a lot of units coming across. Purple are being pushed back. There are a ton of balls. I mean, once again, Sporticus with that many balls, there is 10 balls.
push.
Tom's base is not stopping.
Yeah.
I have T1. I have nothing but T1 defenses. That will roll straight through what I have. No questions asked.
Oh dear, yeah. It is turning very scrappy.
Someone needs to tell Craze Gunman to just attack. Like, that is ridiculous how inefficient his trades are right now. It's like one of the most insane.
Those snipers are up to 30 hound kills now.
You just need to run it all in. You
Just-
will
yeah.
lose stuff, but you will also kill. You'll kill the whole base.
Oh my god. Oh, this is hard to watch.
I mean,
And
we
like the
shouldn't
thing
pick
is,
on him.
all of this
16
microing
OS.
is occurring in the range of the 2 rattlesnakes and the range of the sharpshooters. Oh,
Holy moly.
God.
I'm surprised no teammates are really just telling him to attack. Anyhow, let's jump back over somewhere else. I shouldn't be criticizing someone.
It's just one of those things you can't look away. Does look like the first APHIS of the match is going down right now. Kokado using all of that 12,000 metal in the bank to get one down. Will he finally start building T2 converters instead of the banks of T1s? We will see. Oh, are the hounds finally going in?
Holy moly,
And-
but Duffy is going to take them out by the looks.
Oh man, that's so much damage. 36. Those snipers have just reaped the most horrible of tolls as of the pop-ups. My
48
goodness.
kills between the pop-ups and those few snipers, and even a few of those snipers have died. There's only 3 left there.
Yeah.
He just is literally feeding the machine. Someone showing the game afterwards. I almost want to upload this replay to YouTube just so that this bloke can see what he could have done.
The thing
Pulling
which is
back once he's in the range of the beamers now.
what's the pause?
Kokato's lagging.
Ah,
We wouldn't typically stop for a player lagging in game, but if it is a king, we're a little bit more understanding because it is a big factor in the game. This is the perfect time.
Oh yeah.
That
it's
crazed
across the
gunman
board.
can maybe see. Let's just check out the player
So-
view. Why is he not pushing? He can see everything. He can literally see everything, and he's got enough units to walk in and take that out.
so Duffy using resbots outside of his area to grab that fusion is a-okay because he has been attacked by once you get attacked by a triangle, you are allowed to move out to that triangle. So that is all good.
Is Kokoto still here? It looks like the lobby's crashed, just so we know. We'll have to restart.
Yeah, I can see that
After.
there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 peasants that are all in a similar looking spot as well.
I think the game has,
Could
gone
be to do
down.
with the server crashing.
Mm.
Does look like Mazza has taken, because with the lobby down, there isn't really a good way to get back into the game, is there?
You can probably still join off friends, but Yeah, there's probably not a way to actually get back in if the lobby's down.
Yeah, you can't actually see this one if you go into the list multiplayer and look for all reason no logic. We are not there. Yep, it's not there.
Do you want to look at unpausing this and continuing on as best we can? Or
If you double hit unpause, it will resume. The pause button, it'll overwrite.
Battle resumed.
Is that a crazed gunman still there? It doesn't look like he's microing anything now. No, he is. He's just letting everything die. I am sorry to pick on you, a crazed gunman, but this is by far the worst efficiency I've ever seen in King of the Hill. It's alright. It's a learning curve. Live and learn. Or you might not live if these kings come back. What's crazy is you could just get like a fat boy or a sharpshooter yourself. Actually, no, the rattlesnakes would probably shut down those. But these guys up north, they've scaled. There's a couple fusions up now. Sporticus now has taken over an extra base.
Yes, they've scaled, but income-wise, it's actually ahead with the Kings. That is currently because of some reclaim, but they're actually dead even when reclaim's not taken into account. Does look like the T1 was what was needed in this right-hand side. All of those stouts, blitzers coming through and just breaking down the defenses, and now we have Team Welders coming in to finish them off. So it does look like Kokado is down. Tank Tom is struggling to stay alive over here. Units are being pumped out by Team Mazza / Kokado, but there is only so much that can be done just here. These two players...
these balls not pushing into Tom's lane is just crazy to me.
Passivity is...
different player controlling him now.
Passivity is always a problem in King of the Hill. We know this well. And now Tank Tom in big trouble because there are 8 bulls. They look like they're going to be attacking. All they have to do is attack, and it will be a 1 versus 4. And the bulls are getting in now. The hounds are doing a bit of damage, but hounds versus bulls, the bulls just absolutely annihilate them if the hounds get into range. Bulls taking a bit of damage from things like the dragon's claws from the gauntlets. In fact, I do think the bulls are being cleaned up because of the wide attack approach. If they'd all gone in one spot, would have been a different story. However, that does mean that the defense is now comprised of 3 hounds, a couple of ticks, a sentry, and a gauntlet that has to defend against all of this. Unfortunately, the stouts being left a little bit behind, but I do reckon that those Jaguars are going to be enough to finish off most of Tank Tom. Ooh, Fiend's coming in. Cookies the Box, with control of those ones, is trying to save Tank Tom, but with the T2 lab down and basically everything else down, it is a really big problem.
Destroyed.
I feel like I almost have to upload this despite the terrible casting and still setting up the event just for how long this one's gone. It's usually done in about 15-20 minutes.
The only time these ones tend to drag out is when you end up with a top half versus bottom half of the map or equivalent. Whereas this one was incredibly scrappy with players left alive all over the shop.
Now Duffy's backup base is down, and Kings, Mazza, just got the 1 commander back in their base. Going into T3 though, but there are a lot. What have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3. There's only 3 players really on the offensive, so it's 3 versus 1. Mazza's smart though, handing out fiends which don't take any energy to run, and grunts. And sending them to other players to micro so the APM can stay on that eco.
Look, I think at this point we're basically lost no matter what.
It's certainly a rough position for the Kings to be in, but they do have the economy to support T3. Whereas the peasants, despite the fact they have a greater economy individually, no one really does have that. So a T3 push with army value, with a decent enough army value, could turn into a sweep. But that's going to be a very short term. That's a
These
short
three
term win
mammoths
condition.
in the middle, even if they come across like a demon, the 3 mammoths are going to beat that. So probably handing out those demons to Duffy, or I don't know, Duffy's left to Cookie or Tom,
Commander.
to micro the most efficiently possible. But yeah, the win conditions are definitely becoming smaller and smaller for this pink player. This one surprised me. I was like, wow, this is the most unbalanced. King is just going to wipe.
Plus 45s
lowest.
on this map
OS.
are actually surprisingly balanced.
The
It
last time
just
we
doesn't
did,
always look like it.
yeah, 2 weeks ago though, and I did get a couple messages about it. 2 weeks ago was just a complete wipe. I think it was about a 5-minute game after the no
But
rush.
You
All
need to get
lanes.
aggressive as the peasants to be able to kill some
So, and that's the problem
kings.
with King of Hill,
Otherwise,
or
you
the
can't
blessing.
balance players being passive.
Yeah, that is the
Is the
blessing
short
and the
answer.
curse. Is it all comes down to the individuals to play the game.
And one of the things is this is usually a warm-up game, so myself, Twig, and Tank Tom are in it. And because all 3 of us can either hold or win a lane, that's one of the reasons that it always looks somewhat uneven, because it doesn't function the same way as this one does. But it's also full of people that get to the stream very, very early on, so we usually see the exact same people or a lot of the same people. Today we actually have a ton of people that we don't normally see around the outside as the peasants, so very, very different group to normal, which is nice.
As are still holding from that push. We do have ambassadors though on the back of the hill taking out a bunch of that conversion. A good guess actually. Is it a guess? Let's go to player view. We can see the build power in the converters.
Yeah,
At this
we
stage,
can't
you
see
just
all the
fire
fuels.
until you see smoke. If you don't see smoke after a couple of shots, hit somewhere else.
it does look like
Short
they're
one.
blind firing now, going for spots that they don't see, hoping to hit something more valuable than the build power that they know about. I do love arbiters in the back though. It only takes a handful of shots from an arbiter if you find an aphis or something along those lines to absolutely destroy. No, those are currently legal in this game mode, I do believe. It is
Yes.
it's thrown where we have removed those ones.
Because with this one, you basically have to fight through your triangle. Once you've done that, then you get a chance to wrap around the back. So it means that rather than just being the first thing out of the gate, shooting over the hill with very limited options to try and stop it, it means that you have to already be losing before they basically become a factor.
Hmm.
Does
And
Sportingers know that they have 500 ticks on the map?
Probably not.
Probably not. Where are they?
On Duffy's starting base.
That could do some damage.
That could get in. 100% get in.
Oh yeah. That many units rocking up all at once is basically always a death sentence.
They just need
This
to go all the
mammoth
way
has
around to the
72
entrance.
kills.
Oh wow.
That one just killing that.
And a decent amount of them have been fiends.
Oh, okay. Lots of things. Okay.
Oh no, don't go
Oh
through.
no, the ticks are going to go through the grunts, and the grunts are fantastic at killing
Oh
ticks.
no.
Oh, just
At
have to go through
least
the
they're not
entrance of the
going
base.
through the demons.
Oh, they're going to go even worse against the fiends.
I
The
spoke too
demons.
soon.
Top
Oh,
Tom's right here
God.
listening to us. Oh my
The
god, that is the
carnage.
biggest waste.
100
that was
kills.
That was a win.
Oh,
Come on,
man.
Sporticus, why can't you control like 3,000 units at once on 3 different fronts?
Ooh, that is teeth.
Those two fiends just got 200 kills.
Now, these demons are being pushed back, but Tom's doing a really good job of microing them back and keeping everything at a distance. So it's actually just melting everything away. Those 2 demons, how many kills did they just get?
Look.
They just got
T1 versus demons is
240. So between those two before one went down.
T1 versus
Great
demons
attack.
is a problem. You basically can't catch them because they've got very high movement speed, and their flamethrowers have decent range and over penetration, which is that's a lot of dead T1.
Unfortunately, the peasants here probably lacking a little bit of experience, treating this like it's a lanes 8 versus 8 match where you're just fighting directly into the enemy. There is a big circle that you can just walk all the way around, and Crazed Gunman knows that. That's where they're putting the pressure on, rather than just running through the middle and trying to face these demons. Build a couple snipers to take them out, or some starlights, and send all your smaller stuff that dies to the demons really easily, like all these ticks elsewhere.
Now, what I was talking about accumulating enough T3 that it becomes basically an unstoppable force, that is kind of what we're seeing here. If these 6 demons group up, there is not a lot, even though the army value is 60% in favor of the peasants, there is not a lot here that could beat all of those demons. So
Just don't keep
it's
them
going to
really
come down.
grouped, because there is one unit that kills them really easy if they're grouped. That's the comp.
But this is
Still 7 for the peasants.
if this here is going to be make or break for the kings. I think if this demon push wins the game, if this demon push gets into Sporticus's base, then that is going to be, I reckon, a king win. If they don't, then I reckon it is going to be a peasant win, because the peasants are starting to get that T3.
Chasing 4 demons with T1 is just a losing battle.
Yup.
You need to either catch them off guard or just hold the line and make the demons come through you, because you are losing everything to that.
And the problem is, even though the peasants have razorbacks, they're all split up, so they're all getting 1v1'd by demons, and they're just not getting the right sort of value. And again, Tank Tom microing these really well, has not lost one yet, and has destroyed that entire T1 army, and now it looks like he is going to get into that base. There's very little in the way stopping him.
Holy moly, this actually happened. A couple sharpshooters out now, and they're going to do a lot of damage. But I think they still get in.
The question will come down to which path Tank Tom takes, because only a handful of snipers takes forever to kill those. And the snipers walked into range.
Sporticus.
I reckon this is King's victory right here.
Only 3 chefs, I must say. Only 3 chefs.
Tank
So we can't pick on them too much.
Fighting on 2 fronts is struggling a little bit with that micro, is down to 3 demons, but 3 demons is still enough to win this. Very nicely done out of the peasants and out of the kings, but these demons, unless we see something spectacular happen, this is going to be a tipping point, I think.
Well, there is a lot of pressure on Maz's base right now.
Yeah, but that's not really pressure.
Now, Tom has not learnt to keep firing ahead of where you're walking with those fireballs.
Don't think it's going to matter, though.
When you can't see where the things are, it doesn't really
You just gotta
matter.
guess.
All right.
You
Well,
need units in front to provide that vision.
we tried.
Maz is
We
standing
tried.
there ready for D-guns. We do have Razorbacks versus Demons, and the T1, the Ticks are about to assault. But these 3 Razorbacks, plus, there's a 4th one with almost no health left. Only a few Twin Guards stopping them right now.
Maz has done a wonderful job to try to do this, even opportunities to turn it around, but
there's
good catch just there, and the comm survives. Risky play there, and a demon cleaning up the rest of that T2 force as well. So the game is not over yet.
37-minute Claymore. What the hell? Tom's just been handed more units to go and do massive damage.
You can do it, Tank Tom. I believe in you. Be the change we want to see.
I actually have to upload this. It's disgusting for the first 20 minutes of the video. But this just got good.
Economy still very similar between the 2 teams right now. Peasants have just been pushing out so many T1 units not scaling that economy, that they have been keeping the pressure on, but they haven't been able to deal well with those T3. I'd actually be curious to see what the metal
I love that.
damage efficiency 130% for the Kings, with 205% for Tank Tom, and only 66% for the peasants right now.
I love that Last Frontier still got a base, literally living up to their name, on the edge of the map over the left. The one thing they could probably do better, instead of building defenses, is just get up a bot lab and a bunch of res bots, and they could be online very quickly with all those T2 mexes around.
The T2 mexes up here, defenses up here, metal to take. Oh man, you'd have a great time with the res bots over here. You'd be able to become a superpower.
Commander destroyed.
Right in the face of Mazza as well.
5 comms left for the peasants.
It is interesting. Like they have a little bit of an advantage of the economy. They've definitely got an army advantage, but they're just not using their units efficiently. Like, can we check out the efficiency at the moment? Damage efficiency for the Kings, all looking fantastic. I mean, it's 127% versus 67% Kings peasants. So yeah, not very efficient uses out of the peasants. 67% is quite low.
Does look like we have some resbot armies going around and collecting Tank Tom's spent demons. They're going to throw quite a lot of force onto the front lines. Getting res on units like that can become a bit of a force multiplier, especially in the stage of the game like this, where it is lines of T1 backed up by T3. But it certainly has pushed Mazza right into his base again. There is very little in the way outside of the map for the Kings team
Tom
now.
Really nicely taking advantage of the fact that there's such a big front for Sporticus, and just taking on this line of Razorbacks from one end. So
Demons,
really nice trades there.
Unless the Razorbacks manage to attack basically 3-on-1 with a demon, the demons trade very well against those Razorbacks. What's this? Two demons that are, what, 10% left and probably 40% left, and they've managed to take out 4 of the Razorbacks, and I reckon they'll get at least 5 before this is done.
And thanks for the raid over at the AllReasonNoLogic Twitch. Thank you. Refuse to learn.
Another Aphis online for Mazza, so that should tick his economy up a little bit, but is losing those mexes he's had around the outside of the map for a while, so overall it is a net negative income wise. Those demons are coming out slower and slower, especially with all of those grunts coming out of the labs. Tank Tom's forces finally taken out, but trade efficiency, let's have a quick look at that one again. Tank Tom was at 205%, now 195, so fractionally not as good just there, but it is very hard to compete with using demons against T1s when it comes to an efficiency battle.
It is worked out based on the metal value. There is a bunch of T3 now in front of Mazza's base, so this is going to be quite tough to push through, especially in range of those 3 razors, 2 demons. They go down quick. Are they going to walk in? If they're kept together like this, I'd be worried about some D-guns, but Mazza's commander not quite in the right position, and now hitting some of that build power. This could be it. This could be the final tipping point. Going for that T3 lab, getting the build power out. Maybe. No, the demon gets out just in time.
That is going to be GG.
Though. There we go. Aphis down.
Nice chain reaction right there.
Beauty.
Very nice. Very nice. Mazza not going to have enough energy to sustain that cloak on the comm, so it is going to come down to just getting that last comm. Handful of grunts left.
We can rebuild. I feel like that's ambitious.
Look, I'll be honest, I would be impressed if the Kings managed to win a game from this position.
Yeah, that's not happening. I'd give someone my house if they came back and won.
Commander destroyed.
And
Still was a little bit hesitant saying that.
Nicely done out of the peasants right there. That was a rough game for everyone involved, but a good one too. Let's have a quick look at those graphs, because What I want to see is that damage dealt. Look at Tank Tom's damage dealt. That is excellent
nice.
for someone who lost their base around about here.
That's what happens when you just run T1 at demons.
Yeah.
Metal produced, you can actually see that for that once Mazza took off, there was no catching back up, but quite a few of the peasants doing a good job of keeping the total of their lines the total above the kings. Let's have a quick look at the I don't think there is a damage efficiency one, which is unfortunate.
No,
we can look
there's
at
not.
units died, and you can see units died versus damage dealt for our green player. That was the T1 trading into the T2. Anyway, on that note, we should get ready to kick into the next one. So thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. And who knows, it might just end up on YouTube.
Be a messy one, but oh well. Thanks, guys. All right, Flo is in, and we've been pulled into his game.
Nice. Me. Grab all the map bits and pieces for us.
Are you boss yet?
Yes, I am.
All right, we have the 7 kings ready down there. That's nice of you guys. This is perfect. Why don't you guys do this every week? Just have the lobby ready for us. All filled, ready to go. Bonus for this one. What did we have last week? I think we were at about 60s. Go 65. We've got a few newcomers there. We'll go up to the 65.
This one.
Does it need to be higher? How many peasants have we got? We've got 65 peasants. Does someone want to ask our one chef Keefe what they are, if they know what they're doing with King of the Hill? Because we do tend to have a 3 chef minimum for the kings.
I don't recognize the name.
I will ask. If they don't respond, we might move them up to team 1. Give them a couple seconds to respond to that.
I am sorting out some IDs at the moment.
Alright, we've got a few minutes to get them down, otherwise it's going to be next dad that takes their position. Cobalt Moon says they'd love a shot at King. You are welcome to jump down there for the next game. This one is full. Anyone is welcome as long as they have some sort of knowledge of King of the Hill or are above 3 chef. Preferably above 0 OS too.
We do have up on our Discord the basically limits of where you can build defenses. We have that come up as a regular question, so I went through this week and took a couple of screenshots and drew some squeals so that it's clear for everyone. And that's basically you can't build beyond the lower limit of your ramps.
Now Keefe is saying that they know what they're doing as a 1 chef. Do we trust or do we stick to the rule?
Your call, Twig. IDs look good.
We've always said that you can flick us a message outside of King of the Hill if you want to have a go if you are 1 chef. So I will stick to that. We won't make exceptions. So it's going to be next dad.
The reason that we have that is just because if one of the kings basically doesn't hold up,
Yeah.
their end of the deal and it collapses, it starts to collapse real quick.
And we've had
Collapsing.
players as well say that they know what they're doing, they've watched the videos, and then they fall like instantly. And we're like, oh God. He has sent me a friend request, so maybe I'll let him in next time.
Well,
We're
the ideas
playing
are
this
looking
on.
good. So
I might jump out to spectate.
if we're ready, I'm gonna start specking people so we can get going.
I am good to go. Do we need to up the bonus? No.
That'll be fine.
We don't have heaps of experience
65.
outside. There are just more peasants than usual. The bonus is spot on to what we usually sit with on this.
I think it should be fine.
One bonus for every player, it looks like. 65 being very aggressive for the current standing.
I was messaging Keefe there. They are very familiar and know the rules. So we might let them in for a Raptor crater.
We just need
Later
the
tonight
branch
is
ready up.
Kier. I'm just going to make sure Kier's there. Just make sure you get those ears off your screen because we can't risk not being there and having to restart. All right, so who was it? Was it some player starting with M that asked to be king before? You can probably jump down there. Was it Molten something? Yep, I'm going to pull Kier out and throw him onto team 1. If somebody else wants to jump down there to team 2, here we go. We got Geeds, add bonus. 65, it probably balances it up a bit. That is a high OS. Change team for Kier to team 1, and then the Kings are good to go. Someone's going to be able to take that player, I reckon.
Let's get underway. Why can we not go?
There's one person loading.
They're the two that I. I've got idea
Have a good
collapse
night.
again or something. It'll just be a matter of finding where it is.
I might be bumping the bonus up soon. We're up to 75 players.
That sounds like Raptor.
Nah, I'll keep it. We're not changing it now. Got to do one throne.
Can you guys see the overlapped IDs?
I'll have a look. Wish there was a way to find these faster.
That's one.
Doesn't look like there is one.
It was one. That's where the
Ah. All right, let's kick it off.
Okay, those players are just gonna get
Yep.
because you're not in the
It doesn't
lobby,
matter
it'll
that we just have to kick to go.
yeah. And it's only for 15 minutes, so you can get in for the next one. So that means that I should be able to force start now, can't I?
All right, we're gonna get a poll going on the Twitch.
Who is Tom Ruler? Everyone I see is synced. There we go.
There we go.
We're in.
Welcome, Commander.
All right, hopefully this one's shorter than that Claymore match, which was the longest that we've ever had. Somebody else did a force start, did they?
Yes.
Has it just ended the battle?
Oh, I'm still seeing a battle. Rejoin?
We only have the one force start.
That's odd. I'll
I'm
rejoin
seeing
it.
a bunch of people loading in as
Yeah.
we're chatting.
Just had a battle ended for me. We will
Just a you
reload.
thing.
I saw a few people load in. Oh, I am seeing message in
We
Twitch,
have
another person
18.
desynced as well.
We ended up with an extra person jumped into the Kings just before we started.
Ah,
Who would
man.
that be?
Mr. Peanutty.
Yeah, go on.
Mr. Peanut. Yep. Sorry,
Oh,
Mr.
there
Peanut.
you go.
But that's the
We only have so many levers and not all of them are finesse.
We let them have it, or do we tell them to walk it into the lava? You'll give pretty much the center king an extra. Actually, it's going to randomly spawn somewhere else.
no. He
So it'll
placed.
automatically be in.
He placed. He's currently in one of the defensive spots.
Mr. Peanutty. I thought
Yep.
I kicked them.
They placed before you kicked them, so the
Because
comm is still
we-
sitting there.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Who,
right.
who
They'll be
was
able
the
to take-
Who was the player? I did not know who the player was.
Mr. Peanutty.
No, they've got the bonus. Oh, no, they don't. Sorry, you are right.
Yeah.
Why could I see their cursor moving then?
Because you were loading in still, probably.
No, it's still moving. I'm watching it.
I mean, they also could be spec.
It could be because it hasn't actually hit a playing timer yet.
Okay, there's something wrong with my game because my message isn't even coming up. I reckon I'm completely unsynced. Maybe I need to do a quick restart. Bear with me, stream. Just don't quite force start it yet, guys. Oh, was I just catching up? That's just such a slow catch up.
I suspect you were just catching up.
Bugger.
So when you first load into a game that's still got people loading into it, catch up can take forever.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slow chug when everyone's still jumping in.
While we wait for that, it does look like we've had Peasants pull 2 ahead on the monthly total for wins. 5 to 7. Yeah, you are right. It's just a real slow load in.
Yep. It looks like we've had a few load-in problems because it seems like Amir's is not in either.
Yeah. So
Was
maybe
he in
Chrono, you're
before?
in the chat. Do you know, Chrono, if I get the if they force start it, will I instantly jump to the time, or will it be a slow load?
Good question.
And Flo, if you're listening, I'm going to send a request to combine the chats between the official and AllReasonNoLogics.
I can't see Emir on the list at all.
So Babbage really needs to probably take Mr. Peanutty's spot because they're getting kicked, yeah?
Yeah, that's what.
And that's
That
why
happened.
Babbage is next to them.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'm still on the catch up. All right, I'll just wait.
We got everyone in. Still missing that. Emir and hot potato by the look of it. He was going to be back in a sec, wasn't he?
Who was that?
Oh, no, you're still here.
Yeah, I'm
Should
not
work
even
out whether
sure.
we want to.
You can just get going. If I'm on catch up, I'm on catch up. There's nothing we can do about it.
All right, we will kick it off then.
Let me know when it starts so I know. Actually, I'll hear you when I...
Should be going in a sec.
Battle started.
G'day and welcome everybody to King of the Hill on Throne. Looks like we have 74 peasants versus, well, it says 8, it's actually only 7 kings. Mr. Peanutty is not actually there. He's just going to be an extra comm for them because of a last moment switch from a player into the king's team. Around the map, it does look like we have some very strong co-op corners going off, as well as what looks like the potential of a very strong co-op dry sea. Hopefully we'll see some of that going on. For those of you that are a little bit lost, this is King of the Hill. We do have 7 kings with a bonus in the middle of the map. They have 10 minutes with a no rush timer in order to get themselves ready and out into the map. When 10 minutes elapses, that lava's going to drop down and all hell will break loose. A couple of very minor tweaks to the game mode. There is no air because it would be nearly impossible for the kings to defend against it. Just the bombers falling down would be enough to do them in. And we've turned off the T1.5 and T2 missile units. So if you want to get early missiles up into the enemy base, catapults and Shivas are the way to go. Couple of things to keep this interesting. So when the kings spawn, they do grab that extra bonus in metal. So rather than starting on the 1,000 metal, they will be starting on 1,650, which is a very nice little bonus to get them going, and it will help them get to T2 nice and early, and they're going to need it because the kings have to defend 3 main passes. They need to defend against spiders and artillery around these hills. They need to get units out into this area, which becomes very valuable land, and then they need to push those peasants down, and with 73 of them, that's a lot of comms that can stand in the way. So if you spend too much on any one unit and a D-gun takes it out, well, that's a lot down the drain. Peasants, on the other hand, need to work together in order to make this happen. We do like to see strong co-op corners, for example, this top right-hand side with Cookie's Jaleo already getting that T2 lab down. They do have the Geofusion, and we have many comms coming to assist with build power and metal. Nicely done around the outside of the map. Hopefully we see a combination of effort, because if you don't work together in the dry seas, well, you've got no mexes, so no metal income. It's all going to come down to whether or not your conversion game is strong. Much better to get one player rolling than to try to do it all alone. So we'll see exactly what happens. Joining me and hopefully caught up is Twig and Tank Tom. We did have a little bit of issues with this lobby getting into it.
We are at 2 minutes 52. Is that right?
No, we're at 4 minutes 10.
You're talking shit, I can tell.
We never do that.
Why on earth
All
would we
right.
do that?
That slight difference in your voice is the one where there's sound being made. That's when I know you're talking shit.
So all the time.
All right. Ice Cube with 2 commanders really helps push things along. Just getting all those extra wins out at the start is going to mean they're going to be able to fly into a fusion, getting these out. Not converting anywhere near fast enough though. You can see right now going into T1's almost worth dropping down to T2 straight after the 3 mexes are upgraded. But we really want to see him start building one of these and then pass it on to one of the other commanders around the outside. Having said that, it looks like Babbage has gone and built their own.
Everyone's on T2 already.
Yeah.
Look at them.
And that's fine though. I actually prefer to go T2 myself around the outside, because you can concentrate on a bit of a defensive role and let the player in the middle get that little bit of a faster eco. It doesn't sound, 400 metal doesn't sound like much, but when it comes to your scaling, every little bit counts. So if it's 400 metal for 1 player is not a big deal, 1200 metal for 3 players kind of adds up.
Mm-hmm. That is well on the way to getting your fusion up and running at that point.
Once you get your first fusion with a plus 65%, your second one is only moments away, and then your first APHIS is right there in front of you as well. Any money that can be pumped into that can be returned massively increased to another player. So we do like to see the 3 players around the outside helping the player on the inside get that economy nice and going, while the players on the wings are left a little bit more alone, because they're going to be that force that pushes out at 10 minutes.
Yeah, they need to make sure that they've got the back of their hill defended and have the army ready to rock and roll so they can get out and down, or basically across no man's land, down those ramps and start wreaking havoc in the peasant space.
Build your eco like what Beefers is doing on the top right, in towards that center, towards the hill, not like what's Next Stand's doing out on the left, where all that eco is just over that hill. Spiders going
And
to
it's
punish.
chain reactable too. If you're going to build chain reactable eco, put it somewhere where if the peasants are already there, you've probably lost the game. Whereas if they're out on the outside, just a single missile shot, a single anything could be enough to wreck your day.
Even Peter Pitt over on the right, that fusion is quite close, and definitely going to be in the range of the catapults if they come on line.
That little box is a good place to build your T2 eco and your T3 eco.
This is very interesting. Putting this is probably the newest, freshest batch of kings that we've seen on any game in the last probably 2-3 months. I do not recognize many of these names. Do you guys?
Not overly, so
None
and
that
that's
I can remember.
and that's going to be quite different, because we've had, I think, 50% the same team up here for weeks.
Yeah, Rosie and Platinum Blonde, where have you gone?
Do believe that they may, in fact, be in
Insane.
peasants doing some co-op eco
Yeah,
shenanigans
they
somewhere
are.
around the map.
Where are they? I'm going to look quietly.
We're not in a bad position for most of the kings. I can see fusions coming up for everyone, which should be up and running in time. With a single fusion and your conversion, you can get enough army up to be a force to be reckoned with at that 10 minutes.
And they're going to get a force. If you look at the two top lanes on the top and the top right, so there's Rosie and Platinum Blonde with Cart Mana going into their second fusion after already getting the advanced Geo up. And then we go across to the Newt guys. Jallio over on Eco there going into an Aphis after the advanced Geo is up.
Babbage's build concerns me a little bit, mostly because he is maxed out on metal, doesn't have the build power to be pushing that fusion down at the moment. The units and defenses have come down early as well, so that can't be forced into eco. It's important to remember that the sooner you get your eco, the more it converts back into your economy.
Oh,
T3.
don't worry about the
off
fusion.
Oh
Yeah.
god. All right.
Where's the build power?
Look,
Yeah,
I mean, it's built outside the range of the only build tower, so it's definitely gonna not consume all of the metal while it's building. So that's a plus, I guess.
Does it only take 5 minutes to get? Oh, it's about 4 minutes 40 to get a T3 up, building just with the T2 constructor.
That's a stat I never thought I would know or need to know.
We all know. If you didn't learn anything tonight, take this away.
You can build a T3 lab off of a single T2 constructor in 5 minutes.
Or you can forget about it, put the T1 on it with the commander,
Yep.
get it up in half the time, and go and build a fusion at the same time. Get that build tower down, those build towers down, bro.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the crazy thing is that the fusion timing's not even that bad. If you have a fusion by 8 minutes, you have enough time to build defenses, which is that's actually all that needs to be done out of this lane. It would be better to have more, but as long as you defend your lane, the T3 is a problem because that 9,500 metal is not going to be 2 rattlesnakes and a couple of pop-ups, but it at least shows that the viability of powerless builds.
And the rules just in there again, so everyone knows about the no structures that can be used defensively against eco rules. We do have a couple rattlesnakes at the top, and it's being questioned if they're acceptable. On this map, essentially, the king can build anything in this range here.
Those ones
They
are a little on
somewhat. They're a little bit close. We
close
won't ask
side.
them to just stop building them so close.
the yeah.
Battle pause.
Yeah, I feel like things probably shouldn't be shooting beyond kind of
Yeah.
the level ramp. Can't see the ranges now because we paused.
All right, let's get a resume. They can put it on hold fire. If you go down there and take that land, I would be happy for you to turn them back on. But once you've only got that under control,
They're a very good unit, but but try to keep that range sort of behind that kind of that sort of area.
Yeah.
Because you do need to give your opponents space to do things. I don't think they're going to be in D-gun range. That is the 10-minute mark up, so the lava has elapsed. And what is there on the field? Let's have a quick select through. We have 250 odd units. And it does look like the first attack is going to be happening on the right. Stouts are pushing out, and we do have units pushing in, but plenty of defenses to push that back. So it doesn't look like it's going to be too much of a big deal.
Gates, the highest OS player at 37, definitely That defense is strong. Probably the most defended entrance, I'd say. Schematic on the top left is going into offensive
Oof.
defense.
You know how we
pushing
talked
out with
about
Mammoths.
spiders on that left wing?
That's exactly what's happened.
One shot, all of the conversion.
Oh, this is what we mean by
And that's going to
watch a
change
video. So
wind.
has he seen the converters? That's what you should go for.
No, he hasn't.
Rob
He
the
doesn't know they're
madman.
there.
Going for the build power is also a good call.
If he knew they were there, then
Oh, wow.
but did not know. Did not know. Man,
Yeah, just out of range.
next
Just
is
out of range.
absolutely close call right there. Only lost a bit of T1 eco, so that is acceptable. If there'd been a second spider though, that would have been uber bad. Uber
It's an
uber
early
bad.
mummy pushing quite a while in King of the Hill, and that's what we're seeing on the top left. But these are walking, not using their long vision, their long range to their advantage, and I reckon these are going to go down.
Yeah, at least.
But
two
the
out of those
termites
three.
above.
The termites, though, getting in there. Now, look, this is an interesting point of the game where the termites are in. The question is, where do they go? You can clear out the dry sea and make them into a non-factor for the rest of the game, but they're not really a factor for another 10 minutes anyway. So, do you split them up and do some damage to both, or do you just try and keep going around? In my opinion, you do your best to destroy the main peasant line. But at the end of the day, damage being done is damage being done, and it will make it easier to do more damage in the future, and those guys are doing quite a lot. Termites are surprisingly good when they don't have to go up against too much. Very tanky, but short range, and not the highest damage.
Rosie and Platinum Blonde working together hand in hand to clean these ones up, trying to get those D guns off.
Question is it going to find the...
The reclaim, maybe?
Oh,
We'll
it's
get
found,
this
it's found
happening.
one, it's found one. One more shot.
Oh, wow.
There goes the build power and the conversion. That's big. That's big. Even though there's double aphis, that double aphis now does nothing. So that is
absolutely amazing coming out of Scamdemic. There you go. No defensive turrets in their lane. All units. Fantastic. I like it.
very nice. Very nice. And that is the power of not investing into those defenses. But termites, just in this situation here, you can see they are not so good when they're against some sort of skirmish. The thugs are actually, the thugs with aggravator backup were actually trading very efficiently with those termites. So you have to pick your battles with them. Use that mobility to your advantage.
Scamdemic, I can't really see, but it looks like to be about double the damage done out of any other player on the map right now, just with those termites getting all the way out there.
Well, look at the top left wing. That base has been completely totaled by them as well.
Yeah.
So that's
There's just a
a
couple
really
there that are
big,
doing it.
really big push out from them.
Two more termites left there on the left flank. I reckon they are not seen. Building back up and pushing out again. They've done really well. Platinum Blonde and Rosie trying to get that build power back up. Will they learn and put a space in between? Because they never do in these King of the Hills. Some of the best King of the Hill players, but seem to make that same mistake each week. Termites now pushing up at the base of their map base again. Seeing a lot of pings on the south.
That is a bunch of termites coming down. And the benefit of termites is you can go around all the defenses rather than through them.
Recluse?
Mm-hmm.
These are recluses.
And the spider thingies.
And they're being pulled back.
Man,
We do have vanguards here.
I have not seen this much damage out of termites, I think, in the entire history of King of the Hill.
They're just eating and eating. They've got, what is it, about 3,000 health on each of them. Damage isn't the highest, 168 to 337. Taking a few shots there to take those incisors out, you can see. But moving down, we do have a Razorback on the field and pushing out. Despite all of this, despite the good fortune that the Kings are having at the start of this game, Peasants still about 40% ahead on economy. Razorbacks, Marauders pushing south. This is a good example of passiveness out of all of the Peasants. If everyone came online right now, these guys get pushed all the way back to the center, and that's what needs to happen. Then go back to your ecos. But right now you're going to have player by player fall. King of the Hill, where teamwork is optional.
Got Geeds building further and further out with defenses, which is beyond where he should realistically be, which is the bottom of his ramp essentially there.
Yeah, he can definitely build out there, just shouldn't be able
That
to
front
reach
one
past.
is too far forward because it's in range of
well,
defenses. But
yeah, you
the
can tell he had to
ones
turn
further
up.
back are still okay.
Yeah.
But it does look like the Kings are well and truly out of the map on this left-hand side, taking advantage. There we go. We do have a pause. Where's that ping? Yep.
We don't have a way to remove that ourselves, do we?
No, we do
Yeah,
not.
we just have to hold fire up.
We do have visuals up on our Discord now that show where the limits of defenses can be built. And for these, it's the bottom of the ramp. So basically where those walls are is the front
Is basically the limit.
of where your
Now,
defenses should be.
if you clear an area, you are allowed to take and hold the area. But when you build the defenses, you have to make sure that you're not building them in such a way that it is that they are in range of other people's stuff.
Essentially, defenses are to defend your base. If you're moving beyond that, that's what your army is for.
Yeah.
And guys, I think they know the message, so I can probably resume. You can just put it on hold fire. Hit pause again if they haven't.
Unfortunately, with none of us in the game, we can't control pauses and unpauses. We're all in the spec.
Who did pause this?
Battle resumed.
There you go, it's on hold fire.
Commander destroyed.
And that is
I would
the
not
best way to
mind if
deal
it's
with it.
put, use manually while it's on
No.
hold fire. If it shoots
No.
anything that
No.
gets really close. But
Fire and eat is the correct option.
Yep, if it's
Yeah.
not supposed to be there, it's not supposed to be there.
true. We
Um,
do have a spider push now on the north. Just going J-Frost.
Oh.
That is
They're
in
closer
the
in.
base. And that is that King White. That is his build
And-
power, his T2. He
Yep,
doesn't
unfortunately,
have
building
any-
those 3 rattlesnakes and not reclaiming them has turned into a pretty big problem. Thankfully, some Titans coming out to deal with this one. It does look like they have... No, have they left?
Nicely.
Yeah, they left.
Yep.
Looks like they've left.
And with the push on the left-hand side going around, this is going to... The Kings do currently have a very commanding position. They do have a secondary
value,
push coming down at the bottom of
160%.
the map that has cracked out of the way and is about to destroy a T3 lab and APHIS. So this is two of the commie corners getting taken down by the 17-minute mark, which is a lot of damage done to the peasants nice and early, but we do see some very strong commie around the map. We do see those C's coming online with APHIS as well. So the Kings have a good solid push on, provided that these can be destroyed, and that's what comms are going to be very useful for. We do still have some good opportunities to break out.
Oh no,
Does
that
look like that
commanded.
comm
Just a scene. Not getting D-gunned.
not getting the D guns off. It really needed
Priorities,
at least
bro.
one of those Titans.
The cursor was there. And that's now being joined by another Titan and some Razorbacks. The bottom left corner. Why are you guys not coming online? There are units next to you.
As soon as you see units on that kind of outer tier,
You
have
need to come
with
online.
units yourself.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you think you have enough economy or not, the answer is units. They don't have to be big units, there just needs to be more of them to slow down whatever's there.
One of the
Yeah.
other things to bear in mind, pressure in the early game is so wildly important for the peasants. Currently the Kings are have managed to scale themselves beyond the point of the peasants economy, which is not something that you want to see this early on in the game when there are only 7 kings. The plus 65% bonus allows for ludicrous scaling speed, which means that if the peasants are allowed to push out like they have been and are allowed to destroy a few bases, then the peasants get put in a pretty bad spot.
Commander destroyed.
Despite some of the obvious visual lacks of experience in the middle, there's obviously very experienced players, but they haven't played as much Koth. Peasants probably showing less experience this game.
With
Not
65
going into those units.
with 65 people on the 74 players on the map, there's sort of this assumption that someone else will get aggressive, and what that resulted in was very little pressure onto the kings.
Essentially, yeah, like that corner's more or less being wiped, and still, even with snipers down there, players just going into pork instead of units.
When you're up against things like Titans, you need to get yourself something that kills Titans, and that's usually a stream of ticks with some heavy hitting T2, whether that's pulsars, whether that's comms, whether that is snipers, something along those lines. They can be cost effective because the only other things out here to defend them are Razorbacks, and the snipers that will absolutely wreck those Razorbacks.
Or Titan just taking out another commander there, was not invisible. Being map aware is very critical in these. You don't know what's around the corner if you're not zooming out. And that's another base, another 2 fusions that's going to go down, but there is a commander, Bender's commander, walking south. Is he going to get that up? Nope. There it is, all going pop.
Problem is, not a lot of energy on that comm, not enough for a D-gun.
Oh no, someone give Bender some energy.
With the list being this small, that is going to be a hard ask. It is now visible comm. That laser is nearly charged. The comm is going to have to back out. So unfortunately, use the energy to get there invisibly. Could not get the D-gun off.
Now, I'd love to see Bender go and build a couple energy, turn that invisible off, get a bot lab up, and just go straight into res bots, because there is enough metal there and a single fusion that you'll be able to come online pretty quickly.
Res bots are the way of the future in these sorts of games. You just need to hope that a couple of other players can retake the ground that you're trying to stomp on.
I'm really impressed by these kings. Just zooming out, that is looking like they're very much in charge of most of this map, and apart from a few small spots, even that middle tier, they're mostly in charge of that. So going heavy into units on the north and the south really pushed back enough peasants that the only risk was this top right, and these guys are now being pushed back with these Titans coming out.
The thing with it, I am genuinely blown away by that termite play. They did way more damage than I was expecting. Something we also didn't see any early T3. Out of the peasants, it's not uncommon when we're playing in the middle for us to get hit by a Vanguard or a Shiva or a catapult, sort of 11 minutes in. We haven't seen anything quite like that this game. Again, just that unwillingness to get that first APHIS up and then to go straight into T3 units.
Commander destroyed.
With all these big units around, rather than these recluse that Jalio's got, I'd be hitting the sharpshooters as quick as possible.
Oh man, we've got 24 sharpshooters moving in that top left-hand corner, and they're going to do a significant amount of damage, but I actually think if all the units that are there rushed them right now, it would actually be a ability to take. What's the pause?
Sharpshooters
Alright.
are scary, but when you
What
can
is the pause for?
swarm them with more units, you can generally take them out relatively. If you can get the sharpshooters, they tend not to last overly long.
Where are
have
they
we
being?
got the... Just ping the map where they're getting built.
So it's paralyzers. They're being used on units, which is fine. Paralyzers are fine to be used on units.
Apparently the base as well. I haven't seen any pings on the map yet, so we don't actually know what you're talking about.
It's hit one beamer, which
There we
I'm
go.
not.
Alright, down there.
Oh, okay. No, I do see that they have hit it with the eco
Yeah.
behind.
Alright.
If
Where
it's
is
hitting
that?
things on the no man's land, that's fine. As soon as it starts going beyond that, then that's too far.
So
You can keep it there and use it defensively, but yes, that did hit eco.
yeah.
Thanks for the pings. Can resume now as long as he knows. If he does it again, somebody will be taking his base.
Battle resumed.
We'll keep an eye on that one. Does look like it's getting reclaimed, so they are allowed. They're just for the purpose for them is defensive, just like all other structures.
This right-hand side is holding rather well.
They've
That's
got-
where the initial pressure came out as well.
They have T3 units and they have T1 and T2 in front of them, so they're doing a good amount of chip damage to the King's T3 units, and the Kings only have the Razorbacks over here, which, whilst Razorbacks can be quite strong when they're pushing into things like pulsars, they're not that strong. There's also quite a lot of Quakers and the Termites provided a lot of chonk at the front. So that was a very well defended play. The scary thing is this left-hand side, we're starting to get a ball of Vanguards building up, and I think that that's going to be enough to clear out. As long as they're supported in some way, I think that'll be enough to clear out this bottom left-hand side. Top of
It's
the
so
map.
easy to beat them though. You can literally build the cheapest units on the game and they will just run around Vanguards.
But you
Ticks.
have to actually build them, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Vanguards kill Vanguards if you plug anything underneath them.
Commander destroyed.
Does look like the
Warp so much
Razorbacks,
pushing left.
Titans, and Snipers are doing some good damage here, but Ticks have managed to get onto those Snipers, so that is a huge amount of the DPS taken out. All of those Ticks now, general
Oh, wow.
level Ticks, only one Sniper survived that little Tick run by, and that shows just how effective those units can be. But the Titans still pushing up forward. The comms really need to get in there and snipe those Titans, which it does
Oh,
look like we're
Reality.
gonna... Oh, no
Why are you
invis.
invisible?
No invis.
It surprises me how many
Oh,
players don't
man.
know how to put their commander on invisible.
And he had 90,000 energy in the bank.
A is the shortcut.
Commander
Brady taking out the Razorback, knowing that he's not going to get to the Titan, and now there are invisible trolls still got a commander up here.
So, as predicted, those Vanguards are doing a lot of damage in this bottom hand side, and the reason is because there is only one player out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly 6 building units to defend them.
And they're actually doing quite good with those one player
Yeah.
of units.
And this is
It
why
is the right answer, spam.
we talk about how impossible it is to balance King of the Hill. This is this is why. This is why. Back to the top half of the map, that one sniper finally getting taken out by the Ticks. Titan getting taken out by Invisible Troll, and it does look like gonna grab that as well. So that is the offensive pushed, but there are more units coming along the way. We do have a very strong front on the right hand side out of the peasants, but most of the left of the map has fallen, which is going to put the peasants in a bad spot. Economy is actually fractionally ahead for the peasants, but it is split over a lot of players.
Do we have any massive peasant economies anywhere? All pretty even. There's no big Aphis farms anywhere out. There's some stuff. Oh, actually, top right, we were up to 8 Aphises going into our. Sorry. Going into our 8th. That's Kakado.
And they've seen that behemoth coming out from the Kings.
See, this. If there are ticks put in front of that behemoth, then you're going to have a very good time because you've got catapults in the back to take out those snipers. Unfortunately, the catapults are just on a move command, so they have all been taken out by those snipers. That behemoth is going to be chipped down by those snipers now. there was the potential for a good push, but again, APM stalling of the Kings is normal, so
Nice
to
D-gun.
be expected. Really nice D-gun right there, and it does look like the Com's going to get out alive as well. Ooh. The snipers,
The
though,
bottom
they took the
left of
brunt
the
of
map.
that catapult. That was quite
The
nice.
Vanguards were cleaned up in the end by that one player spam, but Titans followed, and they have taken out all but one
Oh, yeah.
player.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that is going to be the fall of the bottom left, unless Landron manages to get himself some absolutely incredible D-guns. That is one. I don't think it's going to be two. Oh, Invis again. That is two. Can it be three? It's not three. It's definitely not three. If only there was one more comm down here to help clean this one up. But unfortunately for the peasants, that is not the case, and there's a couple more Titans coming through the back. Big Titan push coming through the middle on the right-hand side right now. Vanguard's in front with ticks. Plenty of defense here, but the problem is that that defense is only dealing small amounts of damage. It's going to be those snipers that are going to clean up the big units. Unfortunately, they are being forced to push back by the ticks. Some good D-guns out of the fridge, but unfortunately, no.
Fringe, we did it again.
I do that on purpose now. But unfortunately, too many units around to get more off there. So this does look like it's going to be the breaking point for the peasants, losing that middle, which is going to add multiple new battlefronts and split up that unified front. There is a nice push coming out of the peasants, trying to get some Cargonets up into the very, very risky positioning of Peter Pitt's APHIS, but I don't know if this is going to be enough. When he gets onto the high ground, he's going to be dealing with 17 beamers, and as he's getting up there, many rattlesnakes are firing on them, so this is going
If only
to...
there was a catapult following this.
Could you imagine a catapult getting this vision? Even with all of that defense up there, got an APHIS down to 37%. If these two Kargis had managed to go up right behind the ones that fell, actually would have taken out that APHIS.
The thing with defenses is they take a while to kill things, particularly once you get chunky T3. And you don't have to kill the defenses if everything powering it is dead.
Lots
There's
of
a
build
lot of
power,
termites
though.
following that Kargi push.
Oh, imagine if the termites had been in front. The termites taking a ludicrous amount of damage going up, though, because they are getting fired on at point blank by those vanguards. Only a handful coming up, and again, they're not coming over the wall at the same time, and they're coming over the wall in multiple different spots, so plenty of arcs of fire. No danger to those APHIS, just there, back to full health. And that could have been a very nice little turning point for the peasants, but right now, while they are ahead in the economy, they are going to start losing more and more of the bases. Just like up top here, we have lost the APHIS and the Com to a Juggernaut, as well as what looks to be quite a lot of other units that went down in the explosion. Thule getting a great D-gun off as well. But that is that top section surviving for now. One of the dry seas, though, under a lot of pressure to... The left-hand side of the map really is holding on by a thread, and as soon as that thread does come off, Orange is going to be able to turn all of their units around onto the rest of the map. And with their massive amount of eco coming up, it does look like the Kings are having an issue with energy expenditure. They've got enough APHIS between the team to feed them all 200,000 energy, but they are not converting quite a lot of it.
Yeah, and the eco is still slightly ahead for the peasants. It's the army value that the Kings have on their side.
Still, if you can concentrate enough of army value in one spot to make a difference, and that is something we might be seeing out of these, out of the peasants. We've got a lot of Thors trying to make their way up and around, making a bit of a push out right here, but they're going to hit a wall fairly soon if they don't find, if they keep going in and out. Thor's very, very good for that EMP, and one of the things you can do if you did want to use the paralyzers, but can't because obviously not using them offensively, Thors do fall into that same role where they can use that EMP, and you can use units offensively. So sitting a few Thors up to instead of paralyzers is perfectly fine.
South is looking dangerous. There is a critical mass of Titans, followed up by a couple of Vanguards and Razorbacks. Going into a whole bunch of T1 and T2. Not too much T3 down here. There are quite a few shields protecting a T3 facility, but they're not spitting out units very quickly. It'll taking over a minute there to get a Titan out.
So much damage just coming down in this at this bottom ramp. We've just had a series of Quakers, snipers, banishers, and a wall of welders just managed to push back what I believe was 3 Titans, a Thor, and several Razorbacks just through the sheer weight of fire there. Nicely done. And that was supposed to be the spear point that broke through, and now it's just some T2 units that are going to be pushing into a very heavily defended area. So the peasants doing a great job of keeping their front line active, but it certainly does feel like the walls are closing in on them as more attack avenues are coming out.
Unfortunately, those Thors on the north only got as far to the edge of Scandemic's T3 lab, taking down one of the build power bays. And this is the great example of where to build your build power. You can see a space in between all those 4 blocks remaining. So yeah, when one went down, they didn't all chain react. Still got the factory there ready to go.
Top left-hand side being sieged at long range by these Titans. They've found a new way of getting in. Instead of fighting the front where all of the defenses have been built, where all the units are, they're just picking things off and trying to make their way through. I do believe they can just walk through those defenses. Even
yes,
the T2 walls. Yeah. So
they're big enough. They should make it.
Finding some nice chain reactions there, but just enough space between them that it doesn't all go down. Still, they will be cleaning this corner up, I think. 3 Titans, no comms, and they're taking it nice and slow to kill the defenses, plus pressure coming on the front line. So that top left-hand side that's held on for long enough to get a behemoth is taken out. Oh my god, we missed the bottom wing going up in flames.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to because I'm on catch up. I get to watch it.
Cargonets have managed to make their way up onto the platform. They've taken out a huge chunk of the King's economy. I'd say by the time they're done, they've taken 1,000 metal off of the board, as well as the production. That's going to slow the King's offensive down massively, because that was a well-established economy, and that was all the pressure on the bottom side. The peasants now have the opportunity to push up and in through a moderately undefended lane. This is where the peasants need to get their attack on and push where they have the advantage. It's all well and good to be pushing on this right-hand side, but you're pushing into players capable of building units. On this left-hand side, the players are not capable of... The bottom side, players are not capable of building those units.
And this is a great opportunity for these peasants. When that pressure starts to disappear, send a couple of constructors out and just rebuild your mexes that are available again. Get that economy back up and running as you can.
Yep, you'll notice that the bottom left of the map has been essentially left exactly as it was once it had been taken out by the Titans, which are now in at the top left-hand side. That could have been more space, more economy for you to retake, and then the Kings would have to push through it all over again in order to break through. It does look like the peasant attack has managed to butcher most of the defending forces. They do now have the advantage as far as that sniper line, which is just putting damage on. They've got the scouting T1 units that are not expected to do much, but they have the backup damage more so than the Kings team. So very, very nice push happening here, but really it has been those Cargonets getting on the high ground that have done the most, and it does look like it's happening again. More Cargies heading up onto that, making sure to take out the Peter Pitts Vanguards that have been doing a lot of damage. They're taking out the defenses as well. They are going to run into potentially a comm, but the comm is being controlled, so D-Gun's online now. The Cargies not going to get as much done this time, but even just taking out a handful of those Vanguards is taking pressure off.
I really hope you hit record Prey, because I'm so far behind now.
I didn't know I was supposed to.
Always.
That's a lesson I should have learned by now. Nah, I'm just kidding.
I'll get you to record the
If
next
you're
one.
watching this one on YouTube, then yes, This one has been recorded, no worries whatsoever. I've just started catching up myself as well, but massive offensive on this right hand side. The peasants doing so much damage, just trying to break up this line. Titans, Stouts, and Razorbacks trying to keep everything alive, but even then, the T1 is just getting that little bit further in, a little bit further in. The snipers are now finally in range of those units at the top of the ramp. Those units, that's the go time, means they have to push out because they do not want to lose. They do not want to die without taking those snipers out. Still, as the vanguards go down, the T1 will get more and more effective. Cargoneths keeping pressure on the bottom side so that the reinforcements can't come up to help. Units have to be sent down. This is a bad spot for the Kings. That Kargi push looks like it might have opened up the floodgates so that the players at the top can come online fully, and that is a massive APHIS explosion. Those vanguards on the outside managing to finally get in range of an APHIS built way too close to the edge. That's the build power on the conversion out of the middle. That's the units being produced gone. That is going to be the peasants marching up into the King's bases, and all of that because of the location that the eco was built. The Kings, I wouldn't say they had this one in the bag, but they were definitely in a good position. But when you build eco close to that edge, it is more vulnerable than you would expect.
So the Kings have essentially been brought down by, it was 13 Cargonus in that first push. And what's this, a handful of Vanguards?
And that's, at the end of the day, that's all that it takes. And a big reason why this happened is because the dry sea came online. As I said at the beginning of the map, they are a force multiplier. If the front is holding just fine, they can continue to eco, and they can come up with the sort of strategy they have here, which was just build every T1 unit under the sun, so then someone with T2 can support them. And they have managed to push in. Economy is down to 1,400 metal for the Kings, to 6,500 for the peasants, which has absolutely exploded from the approximately 3,800 each of them had about 5 minutes ago. Very nicely done by the peasants, and very nicely done by the Kings as well. The Kings played an incredibly impressive start of this game. The peasants, that little bit too passive, but they were able to swing the win, which is what we do normally see. The numbers tend to overwhelm in the late game unless there's a massive advantage for one team or the other.
The Kings were doing a good job of going around and clearing the map. They'd cleared, what was this, we'll say 2/3 essentially, the entire left side, that right middle section. They'd cleared most, or a chunk of the bottom as well, but this top right corner managed to basically maintain its integrity. The Kings never made it in through that section, which meant they managed to keep those units flowing, get that economy up to the point where they can then start pushing back out again.
And this is where unit composition and strategy takes a bit of an important thing to look at. Yes, destroying the top left corner was something you needed to do so the peasants couldn't come back, but there was so many units sent there during the mid game in a stream as compared to letting them build up and just overwhelm, that corner held out for a ludicrous amount of time and traded ludicrously efficiently. Those units then weren't available for pushing around and sweeping from the top side down, which then let the crazy amount of defense and offensive units build up. Whether or not a change there would have changed the game, unsure. But the Kings were in a very good spot until they lost a lot of the eco around the edge of their high ground, and I reckon that's probably the biggest out of all of the contributing factors. It is where you build the eco as the Kings.
It's also a good reminder to maintain a presence across the entirety of No Man's Land. That's basically your early warning system. If you start to see things like a whole bunch of Cargonus come up over that bottom cliff on their way to your base, it gives you at least some time to react. Whereas if you find out that they're there as they're coming up your cliff, good luck. Because you either have what you need or you don't.
One of the things that I found very interesting about that was there were 4 rattlesnakes and a bunch of vanguards, and in my head that would have actually been plenty to defend against the Cargonets at the rate they were coming up. but they barely ever hit their shots. When you're on that high velocity shot to get the shots over the cliff, it just does not turn out, and it does look like that was the last comm for the Kings. Well played out of both teams. This one was quite an exciting match right up until the Kings started being absolutely detonated. Let's have a quick look at some of the very interesting graphs. So damage dealt, look at the 10-minute onwards graph for some of these Kings. That is instant damage right out of the gate. That's what putting all of those termites offensively was. That's what allowed for an entire side of the map. But you can also see from the economy graphs, so let's look at that metal produced graph, so much was able to come out, and this is just a couple of those corners that really scaled. The thing is that they, at the 20-minute mark, it was nothing crazy. They weren't even a third of some of the Kings. But it's once you start getting to that 30 plus minute mark, that economy really does go out of control, and that is inclusive of a couple of those players in the dry sea. And when they came online, you can see when they come online in these damage dealt graphs, and that was just enough. The other one, which is very interesting to play, is the damage taken, damage received. See right here with some of these purple graphs, that 30 plus minute mark, a whole bunch of the dry sea players put T1 in front of the T2 units, and that facilitated a massive amount of extra damage being done. You can see right here, that's the snipers there. Really good job. And on that note, I'm going to stop the recording on this one, and we're going to jump into what will probably be the last game of the night, which will be a Raptor Crater. Thanks everyone for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and we will catch you in the next one.
You totally didn't record that, did you?
How could you tell?
Oh man, that was a perfect one to upload, and I do not have a good recording from tonight. There'll be no video next Sunday, unless this one's a good one.
How could you tell, Twig?
Wow, lots of people jumping down to be a king. I was going to jump down there just because my computer's not keeping up with the specking, but maybe I will jump back out because so many people want to.
That's interesting. My computer never keeps up when yours does. Like, yours is always the one that keeps up.
Ever since the update, it's been different. Last year.
The most recent one.
Yeah, the most recent update.
Last year's update, you've been ahead of both of us. The 64s are new for this round.
64s are new? Okay. I'll let you keep picking them. We get 9.
Oh,
try and pick some ones that you don't. Yeah. Try and pick some that we haven't seen there before.
I will let you do some of that sort of stuff as I go through and check the rest of the back end bits.
I need to be bossed if Flo's around because I can't do anything.
Yeah, okay. I will keep adding people then.
I tried to boss you, but I'm not allowed to boss you.
Yeah.
One day they'll give you guys mod power. One day.
6. 9. I should really know off the top of my head how many players we should have for each of these now. Did you want to play this one, Twig, or are you jumping?
I'll jump out just because it looks like so many people want to be. You'll need a take. So Peter Pitt's already been. That last game. I need to come out. Well, I can't do anything. I'll be back in a moment. Oh, there we go. I just got bossed as I said that. I'll start helping again. Make sure you record this one, Prey, because it's probably going to be the only one that we can put online.
I record every game.
Oh, you do? Bro, I cannot tell. This guy.
You told me that you could tell in the previous game, so I had to step up my game.
I'm just waiting for you to start trying to join some sort of drama club and then be seen in next minute in Hollywood.
No, what would end up happening is I would end up going somewhere to interview for a news channel or something, and they'd end up interviewing me as the CEO of Microsoft or something.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got the 9.
Yep.
Sorry,
I haven't
people that
played
didn't
some
get
of
out of there.
those like board games and stuff with you, or the card games and things. I've described it to people as the difference between the twinkle and the sparkle in your eye to tell whether you're lying or not.
The worst part is that when I play board games, sometimes I decide to care, sometimes I decide just to be a menace. And it's
But
very
that's when it
hard to
starts get
tell.
really difficult to tell the difference.
It's very hard to tell because then the twinkle and the sparkle reverse, because instead of twinkling to win, I twinkle to mess with you, and instead of the spark when I'm lying, it's the spark when I'm telling the truth because the truth is bad.
And at that point, you just kind of throw caution to the wind and go with gut feel and ignore everything else.
Correct.
Make a decision
On the
and then hope for the best.
on the AllReasonNoLogic Discord, I'm very devastated to see 0 people voted for the Kings on the prediction last game. Everyone voted for the Peasants, and they got the
They were
win.
all successful.
God, they were some impressive Kings.
Mm-hmm.
Considering I think I've seen a few of their names, but I've never seen them play King of the Hill before. Every one of them.
With that bonus for this round?
Oh, definitely not. Oh, actually, hang on. Sorry, we do have the reset. We've got, yeah, it's probably about right. We got Rosie there, Platinum Blonde there. Yeah, that'll do. Don't go any higher. They win too much. We'll start the next prediction. Last for 10 minutes, people, if you want to bet your channel points on the AllReasonNoLogic Twitch. I just realized something. I didn't upload a video for tonight, I don't think.
I think we've all been Twig, you're coming towards the end of what has been an absolutely insane like month or 2 months. Tang Tom and I are spending more time outside of work doing work than inside of work. Unfortunately, things in life at the moment are just wildly busy.
Ignore me. I did put one up. I just don't remember this stuff. It's all a blur. Exactly like you're saying. Like, my God, like this, I'm maxed out right now. And last night, it was so annoying. What I'm doing, I'm building a house at the moment. I'm working full time, of course, as well. Just as I'm finishing digging some dirt from the side of the house, ready for a footpath to go down, like it's at 5 p.m. Sun's starting to go down, and I reckon I was like, oh, I'll just do another like half a meter of digging and then call it a day. And all of a sudden I just start seeing water rise out of the ground.
Oh no!
Fuck! Fuck's sake!
I have
Fucking hit a
done
pipe.
Similar things.
The question
So
is,
annoying.
was the response just turn off the water and come back and fix it tomorrow?
I did that.
Yeah.
I did that, and it didn't stop. And I was
Oh,
like, "What
no.
the hell?" I was trying to call the home builder, and like, "What have you put in the ground here?" I had they backfilled. Everyone knows home builders are just shit. They backfilled on top of the pipe work for a sealed wet system with like rubble, and there was like literally like a brick resting on top of the pipe, and I'm like, they only put the pipes 140 mil below the surface, which is definitely not compliant. But there's one brick's standing on the pipe, and I've obviously like hit the top of the brick, and it's put pressure down. Just cracked this pipe enough, and there's enough pressure in a wet system that it like looks like water's rushing out, like I've hit the line, and you have to wait for the entire wet system to drain. So you're talking like, yeah,
we've got
100
that.
liters, 200 liters.
We've got something similar to that with the like our drainage is a pressurized drainage system, which means that if anything goes wrong, everything has to drain before you can fix it for like the entire house, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it takes a long time, even if it hasn't rained in months.
Don't force start. There's an extra king.
Yeah. How many players? We potentially need to look at upping the bonus. Just how many players we've got now? We're up to 85.
I don't know if Rosie and Platinum are listening. Do you guys need a bonus? Or you reckon you can do it? I am seeing some pretty strong peasants up there as well,
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm worried
including the
about.
highest
Instead of
OS in the game.
bumping it
All
to
right.
like 70 odd.
I think 70. 70 seems fair. I'll start at the top.
69.
69. I like that. I like that.
And Tom gets 0 as the 10th king.
Yeah. I,
I think you've pressed join instead of bonus.
yeah.
Is that 8 kings now? Did one leave?
Yeah, there should be 9.
I think someone might have left to give you a slot, don't Tom?
There we go. Next dad's gone there. Oh, they're out. Plat left. Is Plat coming back? Where did Plat go? Are they in spec? They had to go.
Looks like we
Alright,
need a new
walking.
king then.
One more king. Yeah, he didn't want to lose his record. Alright. We will go for someone that has not gone before. Let's go with T-Bro.
Oh, I gave the bonus to next then. And
Why is Kakado on 64? Oh well. You're cool. I'll be back, guys. Feel free to start it.
Oh, yeah, he is on 64. It's been so hard with when it moves, it applies the bonus to wherever the slot that you clicked on was. So, for example, if I right click on Kokado right now that it's moved, it will apply to the person who now occupies that slot. Not necessarily if it's a team above, but that's a problem we've run into before. All right. Did Twig say don't kick it off or do kick it off?
look, I was just gonna go and
Yeah.
All right, predictions on currently Kings being favoured to win this at 8,300 versus Peasants 2,790 points.
It is going to come down to how well the peasants work together, because with this many peasants, all four corners should co-op like crazy. But if they don't, then the kings have a 69% bonus. So if that player in the middle is allowed to eco up until about the 15-minute mark, they can have 20 APHIS running, and with a 69% bonus, that's like 3,200 income or thereabouts, which is a lot.
However,
Well, let's see
if you
how.
push down every ramp with like 50 odd units, they won't have everywhere defended, and you will just absolutely crush them.
We have been seeing a lot of early aggression out of the peasants recently, so we'll see whether that on this map. So we'll see whether that does end up happening. And there we go. All the players starting to load in now.
And if anyone wants to stream that's currently listening for the after party, speaking to you, Rosie, might want to come online somewhere during this game. We can raid your channel at the end. I will post the rules for those people that don't read them in the start up.
They are in the welcome message for anyone that's interested.
And you're all interested. She'll get kicked if you break them because we're bad guys. I must be on catch up because it did not pace very quickly.
Look, the start of the lobbies with this many people are always a bit chunky at the best of times. For anyone that's interested, on our Discord we put up some pictures of the basically the limits of where you can build your defenses, which is essentially about where the lava is. Is a really easy way of doing it without having to think too hard. Kings can't shoot up onto the top of the hills, and the peasants are allowed to defend their ramps but not shoot basically beyond the front of the cliff faces.
And guys that are over on the official Twitch, if you do like our content, jump over to AllReasonNoLogic's Twitch and YouTube. Feel free to hit follow or like. When my wife lets me, I also go and stream some weekday games, just PvPs. Are we good to go? Because I might do a 4-start.
I think we can do a 4-start. However, Dark Knight Alpha, I would highly recommend leaving the center of the map. Also, someone should post the rules just so everybody knows. Just for a heads up, please pay attention to context clues when you join odd-looking games. If there's nobody else in the middle of the map and there's like 100 other players, it's probably a really smart idea to also not be in the middle of the map.
All right, I'll do the 4-start, guys. Did it work?
Let it go in a sec.
I did a typo.
Battle started.
Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to King of the Hill on Raptor Crater. We have 93 peasants versus the versus 9 kings. We do have a couple of kings that have a couple of peasants that have spawned in the middle. Unfortunately for them, we'll get them to do a self-D and then we'll be right back into it.
You can see one of them's already started.
Yeah, I think that was Scarve taking. He's usually pretty good at taking whoever's AFK.
Yep.
Commander self-destructed.
And they'll just end up being a
little medal for the kings. There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is King of the Hill. Joining me in the casting booth is Twig and Tank Tom. And what is going on here? We've given 9 players in the middle of the map a 69% bonus, and they have to try and defeat all of the peasants around the map. We'll see how they go. There's a couple of minor rules here. We have turned air off. We allow for defensive structures, but only defensively, so bear that one in mind. More than welcome to build Rattlesnake, but do not let it attack past this point if you are a king or a peasant. That is the line of scrimmage, and that goes for the whole map, essentially. We do have some pictures over on the AllReasonNoLogic Discord to show you exactly where, if you're wanting to pay attention, but we do that so that players can actually establish themselves and have ground to fight on. This is a unit offensive game mode. We also have air turned off so that the kings can survive, because even just the bombers falling out of the sky would be a pretty big problem for them. A couple of other little things. We do have things like the LRPCs turned off because you do not need those defensively. They are offensive structures, good to go. What we like to see is some co-op corners. This is where players work together to get themselves T2. I have a feeling we're going to see a limited amount of that because we are seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 T1 labs, but you never know. They could be eaten to make a T2. Over on this bottom left hand side, we are seeing that T2 already coming up for the for this bottom left hand corner. A couple of regulars in it there. In the middle of the map, what we like to see is each player taking 2 entrances. Don't build those defenses till about the 8-minute mark. Any metal invested in them before that is metal that could have been invested into your economy. Work on getting that economy and getting that T2 nice and early. Minimum 1 fusion by sort of that 8-ish minute mark, preferably a lot more, but the player in the middle does have the opportunity to scale like crazy, provided that you hold your lanes. If you are purely defensive and you hold your lane, then that happens in all places, the Kings will be able to win anyway because they can build themselves line after line after line of Aphis undisturbed. But if the lanes start falling and the peasants start moving around the map, that's a problem. Lots of different ways to go about this one. Twig, what do you reckon? Kings or peasants? What do you think will kick in?
This is our first game that we've hit the nail on the head of 100 players in the game. It started off as 91 versus 9. And just because of that number, I'm going to tip the peasants after a very good push out of the Kings. I can see already we've got Rosie and Kikoto there doing a bit of commie. They're going to be strong. There's also a couple lanes that I'm unsure of. Having said that, everyone's got their mixes. Everyone seems to be doing a reasonably good build order. T2's coming up around the board for the Kings, so maybe I'm wrong. I'm going for the peasants though.
Very much so. Now, for those of you that are reasonably new to the RTS community, this is Beyond All Reason. It's a free RTS. It's normally capped at 16 players, but the devs are nice enough to open up the lobbies for us on the Sunday night to host this one. There are also special events where they do open the lobbies, but the game runs surprisingly smoothly for how many players are in here. We definitely do slow down as the game goes on, but when you're talking about 100 players and 10,000 units, that is to be expected. It is free though, so jump onto the Beyond All Reason website and just give it a download, make an account, you're good to go. Big things to bear in mind is that even though it says there are 2 resources, that being metal and energy, there's actually 3. Build power is your other resource. We do have some guides on things like that if you're ever interested. A couple of shorts on YouTube.
Commander, self-destructed.
One resource I always struggle with that you didn't actually mention, it's APM, and I'm always low.
You say that, but I am a perfectly valid player with 26 APM.
Your choices are the right choices in the game, so you make up for it in decision making.
Could you imagine if I played at 150 APM? Does look like we have a early gauntlet out of Ammoniacs. Ammoniacs, that is a no-no. Offensive structures are not to be built. It does look like that has been one of the reasons we don't allow defensive structures is because it zones players out of an entire part of the game. Question is, has he responded?
Let's hit resume and see.
If not,
otherwise
it will be a
quick there you go. Oh, we've got Flo in the house.
Yes, we do. Do appreciate that one.
Unfortunately for you, means you just lose all that metal.
The unsung heroes of King of the Hill, those moderators, Flo, Nightmare, P-Tuck, the usuals.
They really are. Thankfully, we do have a T1 constructor going out to build this for Dominus from one of the other players. What an absolutely great way of dealing with that. Or they might be keeping it themselves. One way or the other. Still, as long as the metal is in the King's hands, it is good to go. Just remember, do not use those structures offensively. Units for offense, structures and units for defense. We allow the structures because they're a vital part of defending. Though I think it is probably time we did try one where there was no defensive structures whatsoever.
Just all units.
That would be an interesting setup.
The
Hadn't
thing
thought of
is,
that.
there are a couple of things which are wildly useful structure-wise. So, for example, a paralyzer could be used to mess up the entire game by freezing someone's defenses before an attack. Don't do that. But a paralyzer can also be used to stop a T2 push or a T3 push in its tracks because it has enough range to freeze catapults. And that's huge when the kings or the peasants can get a catapult out by the 11-minute mark. Having an ability to defend from that is absolutely huge. And also the what's the catalyst? I think catalyst just does so much damage. You can use those things for defense in an incredible way if you choose to. So it's just a couple of things to bear in mind. Just zooming in on Rosie and Cocado's eco at the moment. 2 fusions up before 7 minutes because they worked together. That is absolutely fantastic. Hopefully we'll see them scale just a tiny bit more before coming online to defend their lane. It does look like Cocado's going to go into that Aphis, and Rosie with her fusion is going to go into either units or defenses. Around the map, we're seeing the sorts of things we want to start seeing at this point in the map, which is enough defenses to hold initial pushes. We're seeing things like fusions going down in a few places for the kings. It doesn't look like we're going to have any particularly weak lanes. One weak lane is okay for the kings. It's not ideal, but more than that is a problem because it's very hard to cover any of this once you start moving past the ramps. If you don't hold them at the ramps, you make problems for everyone around you.
Yeah, and whilst you can swing to help a neighbor, you can only really swing to help one neighbor so long as you're not also getting hammered.
Correct.
As soon as the pressure starts coming from multiple directions at once, you basically have to make the decision of who lives and who dies.
I was looking around the corners of the map and looking at the bottom left to start with. You can see there these guys have worked together well. They've got their T2s out, sent them around. So no real fusions coming up in the corners. Plenty of wind, plenty of conversion, some advanced solars, but sending out T2. So
much
making
T2
all
max.
the peasants upgraded. I'm hearing shots somewhere.
That's so much metal availability for T1 pushes in the early game. And unlike Throne, where the early T1 pushes can be a little bit on the defended side because there's a dedicated defender at every lane, the T1 pushes in Raptor Crater can be huge. Interestingly enough, despite all of the sheer number of players, only one corner has managed to pull off very strong co-op. And a second one has done a decent job with their first fusion. Actually, they're not really co-oping, so they're building 2 fusions at once, so they're a little behind the 8 ball there, but they do at least have enough that they'll start scaling as the game goes on. 1 fusion in the top right hand side, and fusions coming up in the top left.
I'm actually quite surprised. It's pre 10 minutes and there's only probably about a 65% advantage on eco for the peasants.
Yeah.
With this many peasants, I would expect that to be above 100% at this stage of the game. So I don't know if that's because they're not scaling properly or they're going into lots of units. Let's quickly just bandbox that. We've got 360 units, so a little bit less than we saw last week. Or maybe just the middle of the map is just OP. We have given them a high bonus. It is it was 69, which is the first time we've done 69 since the new update came out. Not the update, the option to start with a higher bonus. Higher metal count and higher energy count.
And we're seeing things like Smitch, who did everything on their own, triple fusion by 10 minutes, which is 1 more than we usually see. So that is the 10-minute mark going past, and it is time for offense. And I think the Kings are in a really good spot here because we're only seeing a handful of lanes getting offensive with a handful of units. So we do have the top left-hand side, which is first in, but completely cleaned up. Next in is the bottom left-hand side, but again, there is quite a lot to defend here. Not a lot of DPS, but plenty of build turrets here. Com's going in first to try and get some D-guns and explosions to clear the way. We do have a pause going on. What is the pause for? Comm bombing is in this map. Comms going forward is
yeah,
okay.
it's fine.
Battle resumed. Commander destroyed.
That is a heavy amount of damage being done to DJ's lane. Oh, we've got another pause coming in. Even comm bombing is allowed on this map. It is have units is the answer to that one.
Yeah. If you have
Asking
P1,
what to
you can
do, the
aim
answer is to
them.
have units.
Battle resumed.
Then they become visible and they die relatively quickly, either to your defenses or to the rest of your units.
Yep. So
And this is why you
unfortunately,
need to have an army rather than your T1 defenses are essentially early warning systems. They let you know something is coming. They will not hold off a dedicated push, as we can see on this left-hand side here.
If only this APHIS got up in time out of jar to be able to die
Alright,
to all
the
these units
fusion
coming
auto
in.
boom
oh
just as-
man, if these Jags had come in just a few seconds earlier, they would have been able to cut the pawns off before they got into the base. But unfortunately,
no,
that's
he
the
didn't
build
get the
power
fusion.
cooldown. But they
Wrapping the units around the conversion.
They have made the gap, and the
Uh,
pressure is on.
I think the problem's below this.
Yeah.
Units
all the
coming
blitz.
in.
The Kings now need to respond heavily, which means that there's going to be gaps that open up across the rest of the map as well. Because that is 2 Kings essentially crippled at this stage.
Thankfully, they're in
It
the
is
same
pluggable.
place, which means that this is clean upable. But unfortunately, just too much greed out of a few of the players, and the defense is just not holding.
Yeah, if that was units, you
They
could
are
stop
going to
that.
get into the middle here, and that's likely going to be build power going down.
Oh, build power has survived this one. But the thing is, that big attack was orchestrated by approximately a quarter of the map,
Destroyed.
which
If
means
happened on
that
the right side as well, or they wouldn't be able to bring things like units from the top right down to help hold this gap.
and it is being cleaned up, which means that all that metal is going to go to the Kings. All the Kings have to do is keep pushing units out and close these gap out, and then they can reclaim their momentum. The rest of the map has held really well, which means it's up to the rest of the map to either scale like crazy or to start getting their offensive on, and a combination of that is actually what's happening on the right hand side, where we have our I don't know how to pronounce your name, I'm sorry. But just getting on the offensive with Wolverines, just Wolverines bombing on the high ground. It's good enough. It's keeping them pushed back and just scaling those fusions. So it does look like this area has been somewhat cleaned back up now. So some degree of safety just here, and the players just need to work on getting it themselves re-established in these corners. All it takes is a single fusion and converter to be on more income than you started with. Go into res bots, res what you can, eat what you can, and get back into the game so that you can hold that side and free up the Kings to get out into the map.
Highlights added down the top left, add a smidge to come over and help really push everyone completely out the center, not even holding an internal lane. But these Kings do not want peasants in their donut. So just Emre's commander remaining. Always a pest in these games. High OS
Yep.
player has caused me much drama in the past when I'm a king.
And it does look like that attack has now petered out, and it does look like units are getting up the ramps for the Kings. So a little bit more here and it could be damage done, but there does look to be enough defense to hold it. So the Kings and the peasants now in a bit of a holding pattern, and we do still have economy being built into the middle of the map by the Kings, so they are still scaling nicely. Metal is 21% in advantage for the... Oh, we do have a pause just there.
What is the reason? Cicado lagging.
Unfortunately, in a situation like this, we do need to allow for a little bit of leeway as far as the Kings go for lagging, because losing a king losing their ability to respond is a much bigger deal because they are a huge chunk of the map. versus versus a single peasant, but we do take it as a case-by-case basis.
Just a reminder that those defenses shouldn't be shooting past the cliffs. We've seen a number of structures get built. Thankfully, they've all been removed, but just a
Great D guns
warning
out of
that-
Emre, taking out all those starlights. Sorry, Tom. Just took out an entire bastion of starlights with one com.
You have to
One
keep
com beating
starlights
7.
so spread out. Does look like Kargi's though up in the enemy base, spending too much time rotating though. Hasn't fired a rocket in about 20 seconds. You got to keep those things when you micro. One of the things about microing Karganiths is the rotation speed of the turret is not that high, and because it's a crab walker, it can move itself around a lot. You have to make sure that it's keeping those rockets on target.
Commander destroyed.
But King's now on the offensive. They do have those T3 units that are helping with those long-range missiles, as well as the decently high damage amount of shots. It's basically like a late-game Fat Boy. And because of that super early aggression, the peasants were not able to eco as much as they would have if they hadn't done that. One of the problems with going 1 quarter into a set of lanes is unless you have that sort of level of pressure elsewhere in the map, it then leaves the entire basis of the Kings to respond to you, and they can clean you up because if the Kings are working together, they're going to be able to bring more power to bear than a quarter of the map at 10 minutes. It certainly is a game of playing with the rest of the peasants. The peasants have to work together to win. The other thing that's important is what you follow up with. So for example, if you do a big attack like that, it's worth having somebody follow up with things like gremlin stealth tanks so that you can drive them into the map while all the defenses are happening, and you can just sort of sit them somewhere or go off into someone else's base and affect another King's lane, that sort of thing, because those tanks are very, very good in situations where the Kings don't have the APM to deal with those problems. So always try to make sure there's a follow-up to an attack, or just overwhelm in enough lanes the Kings can't respond. Still good defending happening right now with a lot of the peasants. They are managing to keep a lot of these lanes clear despite the pressure that's going up. The one most dangerous lane is Rosie's lane. Coming up with that T3, it doesn't look like it's easily defendable. And
Problem is the reaction out of the corner.
yeah,
Where
I
is
know,
it?
right? What's coming?
You just see Spider
Fusion,
just put down a
Fusion,
few HLTs
Aphis.
instead of building units.
Yeah.
Don't defend, attack.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're being attacked, you as an individual player probably can't put up enough defensive structures in one location to stop a push from the Kings. If you can all combine your defenses in one location, sure, probably, but that means that the answer to defense is units. And if you're in this back corner, yes, it is important for you to scale because you are one of the late game win conditions for the peasants. But if the front line in front of you is dying, you have to stop scaling and you have to get units down there to help, because now there's nothing between you and the Kings.
The thing with defenses is, even if you build the best
Right.
defensive lane,
Smitch's
means
base
that-
down south.
What's up?
Smitch's base down south.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen that. I was looking at it. Unfortunately, they have targeted the wrong things.
Go for the converters.
The converters. If you'd hit the converters, that would have detonated the entire base. Smitch's base would have been in tatters right now, and that is one of those scary moments where you have to choose your moment carefully. You do not have enough damage with gremlins to take out an Aphis. You just don't.
things like build power, though.
Even then,
anything that'll chain react.
you know that build power doesn't chain react enough to get, compared to things like the advanced converters. just go the advanced converters. If you don't think you can get to them, sure, go the build power, but realistically go the advanced converters and try to get them stealthed outside of the range of the defenses. These pulsars, though, huge range of defense.
Speaking of defenses, if you have a look over on that right-hand side, those tremors are just raining down.
I've looked over a few times. I like this strategy of just throwing T1 units of the problem and just having the tremors on essentially fight commands moving forward or similar. They are struggling to get the damage on right now because they're targeting a little bit far
shoot
back.
a little bit. Like when
Early.
you set a target for the tremor, you have to almost shoot just beyond your target
Yep.
because you can just see there they have actually is it douchey bags actually attacking those LLTs. You can see about 70% of those bullets land short of it though.
So one thing I've also noticed with tremors is that they suffer from elevation problems. So for example, if you are above something, they tend to do better at hitting their targets. If you're below, they tend to shoot even earlier. Now, looking at the map, it does look like the Kings have managed to get out all the way on this left-hand side. Catapults firing into the high grounds. Players still building eco up there. Units coming out, but incredibly slowly compared to what's up there. On the left-hand side, massive Shiva push. It's going into a lot of defenses, which is doing a good job. Comms coming in to try and get some D-guns. Nicely done. But it is the top side as well. These guys getting pushed in by spiders, so it looks like we're getting a lot of breakouts in that top left-hand side. Basically, that entire quarter of the map is under a huge amount of pressure, and it is only going to get worse from here because a lot of the front line has been eliminated, so units are able to get up no problem.
Commander destroyed.
Real good D-guns there out of Hazin Fefa.
Just having a look
Taking
at
out a bunch
the
of T3.
middle of the map at the moment. We've just had a very large detonation of things. Netstad is having a little bit of trouble getting themselves back into the game because they keep getting aggressed. And that was some stealth tanks making their way in. Unfortunately, they blew their load that moment early, which means that the Vanguard shots didn't land on the APHIS as well. Just remember, shots you can utilize your enemy's units to destroy their own base if you get things close enough to them. Stealth tanks coming in again, trying to find the correct route into Schmitch's bases, but unfortunately these ones have been spotted by an LLT put in the way, but they still get the job done because a catapult fires on them and destroys the entire base. That was friendly fire, my friends. That was friendly fire.
Of the madman doing it again.
And that's the benefit that the peasants have. They don't need to necessarily bring the firepower themselves. You just need to show yourself close enough to their things that it's collateral that takes everything out.
Yep. So very nicely done with persistence on those stealth tanks. I've been seeing them going in and getting cleaned up all game, but all it takes is a small amount and you're good to go. So nicely done. The Kings, while they have that, and truly that has basically blunted the offensive, because now the Kings can no longer send as many units up to what they were doing. They have to reinforce this area. They need to get back into it. Thankfully, we do see two of the APHIS being handed over to Schmitch. I hope that we see some. We hope we do see some conversion sent there as well, or I'm just not seeing it, so they can get back into it. Some units to build with, because you don't want to lose that APM.
Makes a massive difference if you can get them to restart with, a couple of fusion or an APHIS compared to having to rebuild themselves. It makes a massive difference because it means that they can then start plugging that gap on their own rather than having to rebuild all the eco and then start plugging the gap.
Juggernaut making its way up into the top left-hand side. Just too much time spent on eco, nothing to slow it down and stop it. It doesn't matter at this point whether it manages to actually get further in. It is a walking nuke.
Why are they not D-gunning?
They did finally D-gun it. Still, the T3 lab is down, some build power is down, and with another one coming up, it's going to get hard, and with the ticks this time, it's going to get harder and harder to keep stopping them. Catapult's doing good damage to Old Man. Unfortunately, Old Man did very well holding their lane and is falling to the one below them. That is unfortunately just par the course. Still, keep holding on. Do your best. Every second that you last is a second that the other players can get back into this, because you do have to bear in mind the economy is not too far out of control for the Kings yet. So if we see a big push is 100% capable of cracking the Kings here and now. If every player switched to units right now and attacked on every lane, then the Kings would still fall.
Oh, we got catapult shots going for these stealth tanks again down south. Oh, they just 11% left on the fusion then. Almost did it again.
Oh man, it's the stealth tanks are strong. The stealth tanks are strong, and again,
Second
just
jug
keep trying to slip
left.
them in.
And you can see some of those players have got those weaving lines of T1. They do a fantastic job of stopping it, because if you've got units in a constant flow they can't get through, it's when there's a little gap in that line that suddenly the tanks can make their way in and cause that havoc.
Does look like we've had a few breaks on the right hand side of the map. We do have some vanguards pushing up in the top right, and on the right hand side the Karganeths have managed to break on up and through with the negotiators behind. It does look like the Quaker tech has been moved away from, and it is now in the more traditional long range attacking sort of roles. I do like going forward with supporting Karganeths with large amounts of forces. Still, all of these negotiators are still very vulnerable to just T1 units, so we'll see what happens there. But it does look like the Kings are in a reasonably commanding spot for quite a few of their pushes.
I guess taking out all those fusions at the top of the screen there. Not many commanders here to stop this, just T-Bro with the only commander. And also going to have to compete with a bunch of termites. The best thing that the Kings can now do is send these up over that north cliff and just keep them walking.
Bottom left hand side, the peasants are getting their aggression on. Thor's leading the charge, heading straight for Netstad, and backed up by a lot of hounds. Unfortunately, the T1 units are a little bit slow to the party. Those stouts would have loved to have been near the front, but still, just getting those Thors in is going to do a lot of damage. Com gets one of them. Is it going to get the second? I think it... Oh, just missed. And the Hounds are going to have enough AoE to take it out. That Thor is now in and clear. All they have to do is push to the middle of the map and it's GG. And they do have the Razorbacks. They do have the Hounds. The Thor is doing its best, but it has been shut down by all of those pulsars. Unfortunately, pushing through the middle, that T3 is going to be shut down. The push has been shut down. Oh, the Aphis does go. It takes build power in the middle, but it wasn't close enough to take on the rest of that Aphis pack. And the attack is starting to peter out now. The units are not there in bulk. Those defensive pulsars out of Schmitz are doing a absolutely fantastic job here. I actually reckon that those have saved the game in this spot, because now the units are coming down to defend this one, and with the production capabilities of the Kings, they should be able to clean this one up, and putting behemoths in the way is going to be a big problem. Comms would have been a nice bit of support here, but even then it wouldn't have made too much difference because it was those pulsars taking it out. A push from a couple of the other lanes might have helped. Unfortunately for the peasants though, all those Karganeths on the right hand side of the map are now sweeping on up and through, and it does look like this corner isn't going to have enough to hold. There is a Titan which will slow them down, but with all those Karganeths pushing, as long as they just keep walking into that corner, they're going to have a nice cleanup. And despite all the pressure being put onto the top left hand side, it's going to be a bit of a race as to which side falls first, Juggernauts being a very slow unit.
It's not over yet, is it?
I think that with the march of the behemoths and all of the power of the middle of the map pushing its way in towards the middle, to defending, I do think that the peasants are not in the best of ways right now. They've had they've had a lot of offensive, but right now they're getting cleaned up from the sides, and we're about to see a nice big explosion on this bottom right hand side. All we need is for those T3 units to actually march up the cliff to find something juicy, but right now they're actually just set to die to those snipers, so this one could be kind of close.
If there'd been pressure that had come from more than just that bottom left
Yeah.
quadrant, the Kings were struggling to hold throughout this game.
Yeah, does look like they're seeing if they can break through that pulsar wall. Unfortunately for them, Dominus is going to be able to swing his entire army at them. So while the pulsars might be taken down, that army is going to be
top right,
sandwiched.
we're going to see some explosions.
Oh, very good.
We do have the Kargis finally moving up and over. They were sitting still for a while. They would have seen the Aphis was now, and they're just locking in.
My advice in this situation is to attack the build power first, because that is a lot of healing going down, and it would chain react. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter. Even without being microed, that is all but 2 of those Aphis eliminated, and that's basically the defense of this top right hand side removed. So the top hand side for the peasants has essentially fallen. We do have a couple of defensive bastions left. I do like what Invisible Troll is doing here. They're putting everything they can into trying to hold up the Kings, but the Kings could just choose to leave them alone. So we'll see what happens here, but I don't think that they have enough pulsars to defend against everything that's here.
You know, the peasants still are very much aggressing, even around those behemoths. The thing with behemoths, they're so slow to plug up all the gaps that you need enough of them to fill all the gaps, and that's exactly what's happened, and they're just continuously finding damage
The
to be done.
Thors, though, are making it into Dominus's base. They're being manhandled by the grunts, but they destroy grunts at such a prolific rate. They just need to get that little bit further to destroy the build power, or a little bit deeper to destroy the eco, one or the other, and then they'll have a nice clean lane
behind them as well. If those catapults just shoot a little bit further to the edge of their range,
that's the spam done.
Yeah, and that spam stops, suddenly the
that wasn't. That was that the Thor that did the EMP on that?
Yeah, the Thor's been EMPing things.
I do know that Passion has a EMP down south here somewhere.
And that is Dominus essentially taken out, and we now have 3 open lanes that need to be defended. Units just streaming in now. Top half of the map essentially completely eliminated, so the entirety of the Kings can force their way down, but the peasants are in a decent spot. They do not have to get that much further in order to hit the main Aphis cluster. If they hit the main Aphis cluster, it could be GG, but Dominus, that destroying those handful of units might have actually just saved the game for the Kings. So Dominus, despite having their base destroyed, may actually be the defender, may actually be the... Oh, we do have a pause going on. What's the pause for?
I'm catching up, so I won't be able to really... I'm not seeing anything.
A PC upgrade is definitely on the cards for when I have money after building the house. So Koth will be not catching up in about 2 years.
What was the pause for?
I can't see.
It was Seal, was it? Who was pausing?
I suspect it's just going to be a...
I think it just needs to be an unpause.
Yeah.
If that was a tactical pause, that's really poor form.
Amray is definitely joking.
Does look like one Thor, though, has managed to push their way in. It is being moved around by the ticks, but it's found the Aphis cluster. It's pushed too deep though, and it's getting hit by too many units. It does get it though. That was so close. That was
Fast
so
shot.
close.
Oh, that. And that's the thing. As the peasants, you throw that Hail Mary into the middle. When you like, if you're close, commit.
Problem
You're
is,
going to be dead anyway.
Kings are still up 100% in army value, and they're still up on eco even after that, because that's not the only major eco cluster. The top half of the map is still strong. The question is, can they hold on? Once these offensive armies start making the way down, it's going to be a problem, because units that are currently being used on the front line are going to have to be pulled back to defend. So I think that despite the middle of the map going, I actually think the Kings have still got a very good shot at this one.
The Kings have the benefit of their front is all north to south. They don't have to cover any other like corners of the map. They're all fighting in one direction.
Commander destroyed.
And the Kings
Fantastic
get their
job
first victory
defending.
of tonight.
Peasants doing a fantastic job defending on this right hand side. Throwing T1 units are the problem, while the T2 snipers are just ripping apart all of these Karganeths, all the other spider units. Gonna hold a nice while over there, but the main threat to the Kings has been pushed back, which was this push in the middle. And so I do think that with the battle line being drawn, the Kings will eventually push a lot of this down. They are currently getting the reclaim as well, which means that their metal is skyrocketing, though I don't think that they can spend it. If you look at the bars, almost all of them are full. So the Kings are doing it the best they can to spend, but they are just increasing that army value. Man, if only the top had been able to hold on that little bit longer. The bottom, then it would have been a peasant victory, but it does look like the Kings are now coming with just so much force. 830,000 army value for the Kings versus 330 for the peasants. And the problem is the peasants' ability to sneak in and out micro the Kings is very diminished when it turns into a straight line.
Commander destroyed.
There has been a great use of those stealth tanks. There's been a number of times where they've made it and taken out like a chunk of converters or hit some build power and those sort of things, just chipping away at those bases.
And that's the thing, right now we know that the entirety of the King's army is going to be heading down towards the bottom of the map. So that means that there's a really large opportunity for stealth tanks to keep playing a role in this map. If they can just go up and around, there's a very good chance that they'll find somewhere to make it in, because all the units are streaming in the same direction. So if every player that is no longer here gets given enough energy to have a stealth tank and for the stealth tank to move, so they only need plus 20 energy, so that means negative 20 energy, so that means a single tier 1 solar. If you hand these out to every player that no longer is defending, you could have stealth tanks running around all over the place with basically only one person needing to control each one. Could be crazy, but we'll see what happens. Unfortunately for the peasants, a push of Razorbacks and Titans has managed to break their way up the ramp, and this is the side that's already under heavy threat from all the Karganeths at the top right hand side. I do not think that they have enough to hold this, especially with the decoy comms coming up the middle as well, with the Razorbacks there too. This is, I think, going to be a huge chunk of the eco taken out. This is Duke Mond with a fantastic eco, but this is not the time to keep scaling that eco. If you can hold out even just for 10 more seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, it gives more opportunity for the other corner, but the other corner is actually basically just in as much threat as well. So it's, unfortunately, despite some incredible plays by the peasants, the Kings were just able to out eco this one.
It was damn close though. If we'd seen
Stealth
pressure
tanks in the
come
middle
out
of the map have been discovered, unfortunately. Roving band of grunts managed to find them, and now they've been honed in on. I was hoping that something would happen there, but unfortunately not. Titans continuing to move through on the right-hand side of the map. And that is... there is not going to be enough to stop this many Titans on the right-hand side. Even if the comm manages to kill the 4 at the front, it will still have to deal with this 8 behind it. So... 2... 4... no way. No way. Com getting away on 300 HP. Can it grab one more Titan? In fact, it shouldn't even try to grab that one. It should try to grab the other ones. No way. No way.
And this is the power of those commanders.
I was really hoping he'd get the rest. That would have been one of the most epic comm defenses ever. It wouldn't have mattered because the decoys were behind, but it would have been absolutely... Can you degun a decoy comm?
Yes.
I think so.
They behave like units.
Okay.
Yeah, but then
They
do you
have
know
a-
it is?
A weak decoy themselves.
That would be very interesting.
Look,
Just want
when
to
there's
point
30
out...
of them rocking up on your doorstep, it's probably safe to assume they're not all legitimate commanders.
That would be
Buzzmord's
scary.
defense on this top right hand side has been absolutely insane. He has been fighting off this push for the last, I think, 4 minutes or something, and it has been held by a handful of mammoths, some Sheldons, some snipers, high ground persecutors and bulwarks, just absolutely refusing to die up in this corner. Is gonna fall to the other side of the coin, but fantastic play, fantastic hold just over there. Swinging over to the left hand side, Titan graveyard on this ramp. So many that they're having to come through in a single line, and they're taking so much damage doing it, but they are essentially through. They have taken out the build power for the lab, they have taken out the conversion, but they are just struggling to get up this ramp. Unfortunately for the peasants though, once this little corner is taken out, it is going to be one corner left against the entire world. Almost 1 million army value for the kings versus 200,000 for the peasants. The peasants have fought this one incredibly well, but just there was enough time for the kings to establish themselves in the middle despite all of that aggression. So if we'd seen just that little bit more to prevent a couple of the lanes from assisting, I think we could have seen a peasant win. But this has been a very, very strong game out of both teams. Final push coming out of the peasants. They're going to see what they can get done. They've actually found a really good gap to go for. All of the T3 units are elsewhere, and they're pushing in with a lot of Shivas, just set on move commands to just get in the middle of the map. I don't know if it's going to be enough, but the kings aren't responding to it super quickly, so we'll see. If this can turn it around, that would be crazy, but they're getting stuck behind wreckages, so they're coming in a line, which is never a good idea. There's also plenty of bulwarks here to defend, and all the units have been summoned to defend this one as well. People building themselves banishes like they build themselves spam, so unfortunately that push has been shut down.
The benefit that the kings have had is they've only had to fight, or they've only had to cover in one direction this entire game.
Yeah, there's been very few situations where 2 to 3 kings all of the defensive situations, 2 to 3 kings have been able to come in to assist.
Yeah.
And if attacks are coordinated better, then kings can't come and assist.
Yeah, ideally you want them to pick, do I help like north or do I help south? I can't get to both.
Yep. Decoy comms don't look like they use as much power to walk around invisible. That's interesting.
Yeah, that probably checks out.
Army of decoy comms starting to make their way in. Are they capturing? They are. They're capturing. I mean, look, at this stage of the game, why not? It's a bit of fun. All the decoy comms. Bit of a
We've seen them
repair
use the
station
full
over there
power.
now.
I don't think we've ever seen them used offensively before.
Okay, yeah, so that is confirmation. D-guns absolutely annihilate decoy comms.
Commander destroyed.
That one comm, 16 decoy comm kills.
Destroyed.
Nice D-guns there.
That was good. That was good. All right, all the pressure now on this bottom left-hand side. How long can they hold out? Normally, if we were going to play another game, we would say that it's time to GG so that we can get another one up and running. But as this one is the last one of the night, we look forward to seeing just what it takes to break this corner. One of my favorite things about this match in particular, in the first between the 10 and 11 minute mark, we had a King saying that this was absolutely unwinnable for the Kings.
I did see a few comments just as we were starting this off after I'd basically hit go, saying that it's gonna be an absolute wash
Yep.
for the Kings, but they've had to fight well and truly to get to this win at the end.
Tooth and nail for quite a lot of it. Even the fact that the peasants got into the center of the map and the Kings are still going to win this one is crazy.
Yeah, normally if that center player falls, that's game over. Could have you imagined if the bottom left and bottom right had been opposite corners? So rather than the Kings being able to flood in one direction to finish this off, they had to pick which side they went to first.
Sorry.
Looks like
I just double clicked all the pulsars. Between the pulsars, they have 550 kills.
jeez.
Yeah, they've been putting the work in.
And a chunk of that would be T3. There we go, chain reaction right there. All of the APHIS running across the map. Very nicely picked up there. Just one more APHIS bank in the back of the map. And then those pulsars are going to fall quiet because they will not have the energy to sustain. Oh look, it's one of our logos on the ground. Very nice. Very nice. Members of the AllReasonNoLogic community, veteran members, do have those logos. I've also given a couple out for competitions as well. You guys won't see them in game because essentially it's a render file where you spawn in, which is quite a cool thing to do. And as this game closes up, very well played to the Kings. You guys had a lot of pressure put on you early. Thankfully it was cleaned up and you guys were able to scale enough into the victory. One comm left for the peasants. Question is, where is it? It is Hot Potato. Hot Potato,
Commander self-destructed.
I think, often ends up with one of the last comms. Ludicrous defense there, but a nice self-D. Congratulations to everybody there. Let's have a quick look at the as things close on out. There we go. Let's have a quick look at those graphs because I am very interested. Damage dealt. Unfortunately, because of how much damage was dealt, it's hard to see this early section. But if you're someone like me on a very big screen, you can see these tiny little blips of blue. The fact that there's only a handful of them is one of the reasons the game went the way it did. They were exceptionally good offensive pushes, but they didn't outnumber the amount of damage done by the Kings early game. Quick look at the metal produced. You can see, as expected, the Kings absolutely took it away with them. Decent showing by the peasants, but no super crazy ecos as well. Damage received, as you can see, massively dominated by the Kings, but quite a few of the peasants really throwing that spam out there to allow for the T2 damage to be done in the background. Really nice job done by both teams. Congratulations to the Kings. If you did enjoy this one, like, subscribe, comment, all of that stuff. And I hope everybody enjoys this one. I hope everyone enjoyed this one, and we will catch you in the next one. All right, ladies and gentlemen that have been here live watching us, thanks for joining us. I hope you've had fun. I hope we've brought you some good entertainment. I've been Pradith of All Reason No Logic. Joining me has been Twig and Tank Tom, also of All Reason No Logic, both of whom probably went a little bit quieter. One, because Twig has a baby and a wife, and two, because of a little bit of catch-up that they would have needed to do during the course of the game. But I hope you've enjoyed King of the Hill, and thanks everyone, and a big thanks to everyone that came out and played with us tonight. We do this every Sunday. On Wednesdays, we also do a bit of a community night, which is where we'll actually be in chat with everyone else instead of in a casting booth. And we'll be playing some co-op versus AI, so just chill games to have a bit of fun. Feel free to join us there. Important thing to do, if you want to do that one, is make sure that we know that you're part of the community. Otherwise you may miss out. We can only keep up if we can only include you if we know that you're there. All right, everyone, this is going to be it for me. Thanks for watching us. Apologies that the title never changed during the stream, but that is, we don't have control over that one. Twig, Tank, Tom, anything from you guys? But from me, that is it. Thanks for joining us.
We are All Reason No Logic. There are quite a few of you over not official. We are currently streaming on our Twitch as well. If you want to jump over and hit a follow, that would be greatly appreciated. Similarly on our YouTube, where we release a couple of videos every week, and Tom's also streaming over there. But yes, King of the Hill, a little bit slow for us on the bigger games until we get those PC upgrades.
All right, gents, catch you all in the next one. Stick around. Hopefully we will be raiding someone, but again, that's going to be up to the mods. So thanks for joining us.
Looking through the chat.
Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by All Reason No Logic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. All Reason No Logic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by All Reason No Logic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. All Reason No Logic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by All Reason No Logic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare,